Was good, was good, was good. You're now tuned in for another episode of Great Minds Think Alike, brought to you by GMTA Media. As always, we're your hosts, Gilly and Wallow. Wait, damn. Nori and EFN. Damn, what's our names again? That's right. Novito and my brother Orlito. And if you notice, we got special guest host, our brother Joy D. What's the word, my brother?
What's cracking, y'all? Here for another one. The last one was just too good to let y'all do this shit by yourselves.
Hey, bro, we don't want to do it alone. We don't want to do it alone, bro. Yeah, for sure. The last one, it was fun. I think we did the best of LA, right?
Best of LA.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna touch on that later on because we're gonna react to Complex Top 50. You know, it's kind of ironic that we did our West Coast thing, then a week later they did the Complex thing. It was pretty cool. So we're gonna react to that, man. But Joey D, man, for the people tuning in, let them know where they can find you and what services you provide, brother.
I provide fake food stamps, fake identification. Catch me on IG at Cabroncito1, KABRONCITO1, and on Facebook, Cabron MKE, Cabron Clothing, Cabron Films, OMJ Media. You already know, man. Just find me. You'll find me. Search me. Google me, like they say.
Facts. And if you go to the Railroad Enterprise page, 98% of the shit is him. The 2% that he didn't, he was out of town. So it wasn't like, I'm not fucking, you know, it was just the 2% he was OT, man. But lock in with bro for all your services. Orlito, bro, what's the word, my brother? How you been?
Man, I've been good. I can't complain. It was my off week somewhat. Like I had to work Tuesday and I gotta work tomorrow. But all in all, I had a session yesterday, had a session Monday, cooked up like some fire ass beats in the little time that I was here with my guy Colossus. And shit, just chilling, bro. How about you? How you been?
I've been cool. Y'all know, y'all my family or whatnot, but today's a great day, man. Got the family together, you know what I'm saying? Got my boy with me now, so everything's great, bro. I'm beat up. I was telling y'all prior to the show that I was doing something that should have took me at least 20, 30 minutes, but I don't know how to read instruction. And it took me 2.5 hours to 3 hours, man. But how they say, we got her done, man. We got her done. So, man, before we get into the news, get into the topics, I'm going to run down quick news. If y'all want to react.
Yes, sir.
Eminem will be making a cameo on Happy Gilmore 2. That's that Adam Sandler's flick.
I seen that. I didn't know how true that was, but
me either until I seen it on a reliable sources news feed.
Yeah, I thought it was bogus at first too, because it looked hella funny. I thought it might have been a music video cut or something, and then I saw coming to Netflix, and I was all right. Yeah, it's valid.
Adam Sandler and Marshall Mathers, and the same. That's gonna be one, man.
Right.
Let me see. Global Independence in the house. Appreciate you, brother, as always, Mike.
Shout out.
50 Cent expanded his G Unity Business Lab in Shreveport, bringing entrepreneurship, education, and mentorship to local high school students. Congratulations. Black Sam opens up a new Marathon Burger in Venice Beach, California. Business is doing great. Shout out Black Sam and All In. NPR Music uploaded a new Tiny Desk performance, which I seen this past few days. Orly sent me E40 from the Bay.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because we were kind of talking about him, heavily discussing E40.
There's some people watching your shit and then like, oh, let's take it. mention. It's two. That's 2 for 2. Let the third one happen. I'm gonna claim conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy. Hey, you know, Jay-Z said it. Not the streets, but the internet's watching somebody. You know what I'm saying? But check it out. The NPR Music Tiny Desk. I love they. I like their format. You know.
Yeah, super dope.
Intimate. You know what I'm saying? Some of the best ones I've seen. I loved it. The Twister one. I loved it. Scarface was one of my all-time favorites. Dolce killed it. You know, Locks. You know, yeah, the Tiny Desk performance. One of the good things the culture got right now.
Yeah, I know Scarface, Tech 9 for me, and I know, and R.I.P. Mac Miller when he was on it.
Bad Bunny.
Oh yeah, Bad Bunny. That's
His shit
that
was
recent
fire.
one.
He
Yep.
had a whole.
His shit was fire
with him, bro.
Yeah, you right.
When he dropped his album,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that was probably about maybe like a month and a half ago, if that. Probably even maybe a month ago.
Yeah, I might have to check that out. I'll check that out.
Yeah, that was dope.
You can check out interviews on The Art of Dialogue and Discretion Advisory with Suge Knight. He was on Piers Morgan last week, but there's an interesting clip. I wanted to upload it, but I didn't want us to get strike down. But Suge Knight claims Dr. Dre had put $20K on his head. They got proof of payments where he paid people to wanting to kill Suge. I don't think that's far-fetched. You were a terrorizer, a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I don't know about no 20K though, but I believe some way Dre try to put some kind of pressure, right? What y'all think about that?
I believe there was multiple bags on that man's head. Just
facts.
Yeah. No one ever went for it. Either that or they failed because he was always involved in some shit, so you never know.
True. And what I find interesting is Suge Knight always talks shit, right? He always said Diddy gay, Snoop gay, et cetera, but he's been talking a lot more about Tupac's death, right? And why I find it interesting is because, right, guys, let's be real. So many conspiracy theories, right? But we finally got someone who he's locked up, Keefe D, where he basically, even if it's true, not painted a picture of the drive-by, right, et cetera, implicating his nephew in it. So I thought, okay, and he implicated Diddy, say he put the money on their head, right? So I'm like, okay, they finally gonna crack this case, right? Right when that's about to happen, new nuances and shit. Suge Knight says that was an orchestrated hit by David Kenner's former attorney and Reggie White, his former security.
I seen that.
Yeah, stating the day of the murder or the shooting, Reggie White told his bodyguards, his security, not to walk around armed. And the reason being, a week prior, he was fired by Tupac Shakur for security. And the reason why they think David Kenner's attorney was behind it, because when the shit happened, it was said on the walkie-talkie, you know, they got him, or right? And someone said, do not talk over the walkie-talkies. And it sounded like someone that wasn't from the hood. And Suge Knight states, while he was in prison and his attorneys were changed, right, that David Kenner forwarded all he has to this attorney on Suge Knight's case. And when they found a walkie-talkie in one of these boxes. Suge Knight's trying to say that this could have been a hit from his own camp. What y'all thoughts on this? Now that, like I said, with all the conspiracy theory, government, Biggie, Bad Boy, etc., Crips, Bloods, Suge, everybody, we damn near got close to someone actually being convicted on this. It still is, right? Because he's still locked up. But Suge Knight just dropped a bombshell. What's your thoughts on that? Joey first.
I mean, it's. I don't think it's far-fetched because you got envy. What do they say? Envy breeds jealousy and hate, however the saying goes. Jealousy. I mean, and he did have a circle of some wild motherfuckers with him. So You know, everybody's motivated by a bag. You never know. Could have been coming from his own camp. You know what I mean? I I'm not gonna say nah, it can't happen. It couldn't be. It's 50-50. It's a lot of motherfuckers that wanted him dead. Put it that way.
Facts. Orlito?
Yeah, definitely a possibility. You know, hey, anything's possible nowadays. You know, we see stories like that from like the what's the movie that like Paid in Full? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
I couldn't think of the guys' names in it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You know, that shit was fucking
real
who would have
murder
thought? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's crazy because it's like how many documentaries we done seen, how many YouTube clips we done seen with and now we finally got the guy who's been silent. Well, we're going on 30 years, I think, next year on the death of the anniversary of that, right? And it's like he's starting to talk now. Why? Right?
Right.
So it's interesting. It was interesting to me. Speaking of Tupac, R. Kelly stated that the best of both worlds was supposed to be him and Tupac. And the lead single was supposed to be I Wish. Man.
I wish a nigga would.
How big that shit would have been, man.
That's crazy. That's
like,
wild.
Because look, man, that the best of both worlds with him and Jay-Z, the first one, should have been like it would have been bigger if that fucking the allegations didn't come out right out the gate.
Yeah.
But you know, R. Kelly and Tupac, who was undoubtedly on top of the game that would have been big, bro. That would have been big. After decades of battle, Bobby Brown has regained ownership of his master's recordings. Congratulations, Bobby Brown. Now, we were speaking about it, I think, prior to we got online, but Lil Wayne announces a 36-date nationwide tour ahead of the Carter 6 release that will drop tonight. Fellas, there's something else I want to add to this, and I want to really hear y'all takes on this. 36 dates. The Carter 6 tour, right? Guess what city he's skipping?
New Orleans.
Ding, 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 Joy.
Yeah, because they didn't give him the Super Bowl, and that's his hometown. He's like, fuck y'all.
That's an NFL. That was in his hometown.
That's crazy. Like you're dropping the Carter 6. It was the start of what launched you. And you're from there and you're not even going to set foot there for the tour. It's like, y'all shitted on me, so I'm not going to give you this tour. I'm not going to stop by and say what up to my own city. That's crazy, though. I was guessing. I didn't know that shit, but I figured that's probably what he would have skipped.
Orlito.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, but didn't like Master P give him like some type of rewards and shit like that and keys to the city and yeah. So I would have thought that. Yeah, so I would have thought this shit because they showed out. You know what I'm saying? He gave him then they give him his own day and all type of shit, right?
Everything, bro.
They gave him everything, right?
Everything.
No bullshit. No bullshit.
Hey, they gave him everything but the Super Bowl.
They gave him everything but the Super Bowl. I thought that was interesting because it's like, bro, if there was a perfect time for you to make a fucking statement and tell the NFL, fuck you, this what it should have been was a performance in your hometown for the Carter 6.
Yeah. And made it lit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more about this guy later, but I do want to. Drake confirmed his return to Europe with the Party Next Door tour coming this summer. We're gonna get back to him in a bit because there's a lot to unpack with the guy with Aubrey. So
Aubrey, wheelchair Jimmy.
Hold on a second, Orlito. I seen you share this earlier. Patrick Q and Brad to release some big pun sneakers for the NYC Puerto Rican Day Parade, y'all. Most
Damn.
Do you know?
Un día llegará.
Look, bro. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, them are fire. They
No,
kind
they're
of look like
not, nigga.
Hirachis
That's
a
not
little.
what I was saying. Wait. Let's go back. Let's go. As somebody who comes from the era of starter jacket and a pair of Ewings, or you wearing shit, them shits right there ain't it. I appreciate the repping Big Pun, but they gave my nigga some bogus ass low top. See, I'm saying, bro, like he should have just been a standard high top Ewing. Them ain't it, bro. Them look like the fucking the Hibaro ones, bro. Them ain't it. Sorry. Look, even Hectic said it. Look, Hectic said that's dope, but I'm not fucking with him. Nigga, them shits is garbage. No, man.
So you ribbing me if I come through with those?
No,
yeah,
bro.
nigga, I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna be like, I'm here with my nigga Orly and the Hibano ones. Check them out live. Hector said they look like slipper Jordans.
Shout out Heck.
Shout out Heck, yeah.
Yeah, check out that nigga's podcast, him and Illy, bro.
That shit was all fire, 414, yeah.
All 414. That shit is super legit, man. I watched the whole thing. I finally got a chance to sit down and go through the whole show with them, and I like what they're doing, bro, and I want to see them do more.
But
no
shout
doubt
out to Heck and Illy, both independent artists, got their own brands coming together. That's what's up, man. Plus they family too. Everybody Milwaukee family. Well, anyhow, Houston, Texas rapper D Baby says whatever consequences come with him touring with NBA YoungBoy, it's gonna have to come with it. Yeah, you know, I just feel like fuck that shit, man. Get your fucking bag, and I don't know why people was forced to pick sides if you ain't from the same fucking city. You know what I'm saying? That shit sounds redundant to me.
I mean, personally, I don't fuck with either one of their musics, bro. Like NBA YoungBoy, I don't listen to him. D Baby, I listen to him even less. I mean, the Edgars are going crazy in Texas right now, bro. Like they're all coming out, and the only fire music that I'm listening to right now that's considered Hispanic music, because you know Houston is Houston, Texas is Texas. You got your artists from out there. But the only one to me that's really holding it down is Mexican OT. Like he could rap his ass off. He does the weird shit too.
I will say this much. He's on his shit. I do give him that. He's consistent, but I would like to see some more of him. He's killing the feature game right now. I seen him with Denzel Curry. I just seen him with man. We were just talking about this a few days ago too. But no, Mexican OT right now, he just needs to deliver more projects on his own. He's everywhere as far as a personality or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but I don't want to say gimmick, but I just want like more of his music of him. I fuck with him too. Texas, Denzel Curry. There you go, Denzel Curry. Him and Denzel Curry went crazy. According to court documents, YNW Melly's team has asked for a delay on his second trial, right? Because the first one was a mistrial because they're citing that he has been dealing with physical and mental health that he endured worse than death row inmates. 7 years, Mike. 7 years. This man been jammed up. They mistrial. They don't even give this man a bail. I don't know, man. I always heard the longer the trial, the better if you getting out type shit. But what good is it if you ain't gonna be mentally there when you do beat this case, or if you do get? I don't know, man. I wasn't a fan of his music, but I do know he had momentum going. Motherfuckers was fucking with him. Little Dirt. his federal case, they took the death penalty off. They're just recommended a life sentence, which is a victory in a sense, right? Because he ain't got to worry about getting executed. But good news is, judge says his 4.5 million bail is not sufficient enough. But they also said the prosecutor's evidence is not enough to even hold him in jail longer. So it looks like to me, someone in there is taking a hit for him. Because the judge said that. It wasn't his defense. The judge said this. So that's kind of like gives hope for Little Dirt in his situation. And that's it. We're about to get into some topics. Any shout outs y'all want to give out right quick before we get into some topics?
Shout out my boy Huncho Gang J. Got some new music coming. We've been secretly working, haven't been telling anybody. A couple new projects on the way, some videos on the way. Shout out to everybody just doing something, trying to make something happen. It feels like not the city. To me, it feels like the South Side went to sleep for a little bit. And summer's coming. I feel like the South Side hibernates in the winter for some fucking reason, bro. Because it wasn't really shaking. You know what I mean? Now everybody's dropping new music. Everybody's starting to put stuff out there. Shout out Loud, bro. B-Dub Loud. That man's been on a tear again like he was a few summers back. And I've been watching him, and I'm excited to see what he does with this Southside video that he's dropping. Shot by Trademark Mike Coleman. Shout out Mike Coleman. He's another dope ass videographer in the city, man. Just everybody doing it, man. Everybody who's doing it is trying to unify. We got to get away from that separation bullshit, man. We've been saying this for years, but I feel like now it might be a little more realistic for some reason. I don't know, maybe something in the air, but I feel like there's a little bit more motion through the south side of the city right now.
Dope. I'm gonna be looking.
Hell yeah. Piggybacking off of what Joey D said, shit, come fuck with me. I make music. I make beats and shit. I got my own studio. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, like, you know, get my foot in the door, just maybe produce a hit for, like, every artist or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely got for you.
I already got Hectic's beat. I got him out the way already. He just got to come pick it up and do what he got to do on it.
Is it the one that he was talking about that nobody has sampled yet?
Oh no, then I would have to do that one too. But I know he had something.
Is you need to come to the lab, or I need to come by you, and we need to take that Eddie Santiago Juvia, chop that shit up, and get it to Hectic. Because he said, and after Hectic said that, I scoured the internet, nigga. I scoured the interwebs. I cannot find anything that was flipped with that sample. So now I'm kind of on a mission. I already got a little bit here and there chopped in the MP, but I think that's something that we probably should get together and see if we can make it shake, bro. Because if you could find
let me know. I'm with it.
Because I chopped it up and I searched the internet to see Eddie Santiago Juvia sample flip. I went to all the flip this pages that I know. Nothing, bro. So I think Hectic might be onto something. And if we could make it dope, sure. I feel like that should go straight to Hectic.
For sure. I'm with it. Yep. And I got something doing. I've been working secretly, like Joey been saying. What Joey said, I've been working secretly with Rich P. You know what I'm saying? He got a performance tonight. I'm finna go try to check dude out. No, I'm going to go check dude out. He's going to be performing at the Beat Battle. Beat Battle, yeah. So, yeah, just working with a couple, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, come fuck with me. I got the beats, got the MPC. I'll cook up a beat right in front of you. Tell me a sample, something that you like, something that you fuck with, whatever. Send me some of your music, you know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there.
Y'all heard it. Hit them guys up. They got that word for y'all.
You heard it right here first.
And the word I was looking for, Joey, was personality. He's been becoming more of a personality
than an artist.
Yeah, he's becoming Boosie to me. That's what I mean.
I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying.
That's why I didn't want to say gimmick, because he's not a gimmick at all. He's cold, but personality. That was the word.
You're right, because he's popping up in a lot of random shit that ain't got nothing to do with music. Because just yesterday, I'm a big wrestling fan, as you know. I still got all the
Again,
DVDs that you gave me. I saw him pop up with Zilla Fatu, and I was like, "What the fuck? Mexican OT and Zilla Fatu?"
yeah,
Okay, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah, he's been, and that's gonna help him with the, I guess, cross promotion. So shout out to Mexican OT though, Latinos in the house.
I got
Um,
31 bullets inside of this clip, and the bitches go da 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 da.
all right, let's get into some shit. So I got some clips right here. A few days ago, the clip sat down with GQ. And they had a whole lot to say, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get to clips and we'll react to them. Pusha T on Drake. I don't rate him no more. The suing thing is bigger than just some rap shit. I just don't rate you. Damn, it's just like kind of cheapening the art of it once we gotta have it get into real questions about suing and litigations. Like, what's up for what's this for?
Right.
So we covered that, right? Go ahead, Joy. What, like, where do Drake, like, we know he's an artist, right? But where do we rank him for a guy who really doesn't, we don't know if he wrote all this shit first and foremost, right?
Right.
And second is all of this litigations, the suing. Where does, like, it's not us, it's him put himself in that box. What happens with Drake, bro?
I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this for years, at least 10 years, and you know it because I've said it to you. I said Drake is the greatest actor in the world because he got everybody fooled into thinking he's the best rapper in the fucking world. Drake, to me, I wouldn't rate him either. But as far as being a performer, he's probably one of the top performers that there is because he could take anything and make it a hit. It's like I forget who said it, but I heard it. They were like, goddamn well, Tootsie Slide was not a hit. They made that a hit. The machine behind him made that a hit. So he's a great performer. He could pretend. He's an actor. He's an actor from the get-go. He's fucking Wheelchair Jimmy. Come on. He was acting since he was a kid. Started from the bottom, but now we're here. But I come from a musical background. My uncle was famous. My mom was, borderline rich, but I started from the bottom. If you go back and see some of his shit from when before he had the beard, before he was Young Money, he was never in the slums. He was always in a very, very nice gated community. So he's like one of those trained actors that you could put him in any role and he's going to convince the shit out of you that he's that dude. So to me, is he an MC? No. Is he a rapper? Yes, he's a rapper. But all in all, where I rank him, he's a great actor because he's putting on this act that he's the dopest artist out, that he's the best rapper. We come back to all the allegations of ghostwriting and all this other stuff. And then we come from the culture and the era of when you battle rap, you rap, you say what you got to say, yada, yada. I don't remember Pac and Biggie getting lawyers. You know what I mean? I don't remember Jay and Nas getting lawyers and being to the point where you're borderline crying publicly because somebody's dissing you. They tried to get this. They tried to erase Kendrick's diss track and they couldn't do it. You know what I mean? He didn't want that out there because it was tarnishing his image. That whole A minor and all that pedophile shit, man, that had that boy scared. He thought he was done for, bro. But again, where I put Drake, does he make great music? Yes, he makes great music. Do I consider him one of the best MCs? No, he's not even fucking top 20 for me, bro. But now as far as actors, I put him up there with Childish Gambino, great actor, but he's a rapper. Now Drake's different. Drake's an actor. He's not really a rapper. He's pretending to be one. That's how I see Drake. And I don't rank him just like they said.
Orlito.
Yeah, shit. It kind of gets messy with Drake, I feel, because like when you make the argument of like, oh, like he doesn't write his own shit, ooh, then we could throw a lot of people in that conversation as well.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Kanye, we could throw in there. Yeah, we could throw Dre in there. We could throw, yeah, there's a lot. Yep, easy. We could throw a lot of people in that conversation. So when it comes to that, it's like, you know. But I think like overall, like the whole like scenario, how the shit is playing out, like Joey D was saying, you don't never see like a beef or a battle like that that pertains to like music or rap or whatever, and then they go and sue. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never seen or heard of that ever. So he's like taking that shit to like a whole different level, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? And for that alone, I don't think I wouldn't rank them as like if you were to say like to rank them overall as far as like a MC, I don't think that you would be able to rank them as an MC. But if you were to rank them as a I guess an artist, right?
A performer.
I guess you could, or performer, or I mean,
artist. You gotta be an
an
artist.
artist. He's
All
yeah.
right. Go ahead, continue, and I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Remind me, Joy, and I'll get to that.
If you rank him as like an artist, right? Because I mean, you would rank Kanye as an artist, right?
Yeah.
The only difference is he doesn't. What Drake doesn't produce his own music. That's about the only difference. But you know, we already know with the whole Kanye shit, Cudi has wrote for Kanye. A lot of people has wrote for Kanye. You know what I'm saying? But he still, if I would rate, I wouldn't be able to rate Kanye MC like that. It kind of takes away when you make that argument like that. It takes away like, damn, I wouldn't be able to rate dude as an MC, even though we know he got. I'm sure that some of them, like a lot of the music from before, what I don't even know because it's hard to say because Kanye has, you know, I thought that Kanye and Big Sean had somewhat of a similar flow for a little bit. And then, you know, he had Consequence over there. He had, you know, he had a lot of motherfuckers he had a lot of motherfuckers over there that was penning for him. So when you were to go to like that argument about like a MC, it would be hard to rank. I don't know if I would want to rank. I don't think I would be able to. But as far as an artist, yeah, I would be able to rank him as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, we could even Michael Jackson. Then you know, R. Kelly has wrote for Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? But we wouldn't take that shit away from Michael Jackson as far as an artist, right? As far as an artist, Michael Jackson, the dopest artist. You know what I'm saying? Performer, like how Joy D was saying. Yeah. Probably the best performer, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I would use. I would use Michael Jackson for performer, talent, artist. The reason I say I use artists with Drake, and I use that loosely, right? Because an artist is supposed to draw their own shit, right? The artist paints his own picture, right? Talent. That's the word I'm gonna use for Drake. Talent. Because he can mimic. You know, and I'm sure some of that shit he probably wrote type shit, but I will say this. He's not my GOAT at all, but he is a GOAT. You know, I will say he had a run, right? And he had #1 hits, right? But that don't make you the fucking best at all. Nelly had #1 hits, and nobody thought Nelly was better than Eminem. Nobody thought you. So,
and he even threw like little whatever at Eminem, like jab, yeah.
Ja Rule had a nice run of #1s, but I'm sure nobody was like, "Yo, this guy's better than Nas."
Right.
You know. But he was hotter or bigger at the time. All I would say for Drake is he was consistent. It doesn't mean he was dominant. Let's not confuse consistency with dominance, right? Because there's plenty of years that we covered little bits of here and there where there was years that was dominated by other artists throughout this so-called 15 years of his dominance. Let's not get it fucked up. People be like, he's been running the game 15 years. No, he hasn't. I think
you're right. Because if he was dominating for 15 years, there wouldn't be no talk about the big three. Because obviously there's two other motherfuckers who were in there making noise too.
Plenty of people was eating during this time. Travis Scott, for instance, he came out, was doing crazy numbers, went on tours. If it wasn't for that Astro World shit, who knows if it wasn't for that Astro World shit, who knows if we would even got to Kendrick and Drake? Because I don't even think there would have been a need for that no more. Because Travis Scott would have been, dominating, right? Juice World before his ultimate passing. I'm not saying he's the best, guys, but again, this motherfucker was buzzing,
the impact,
killing the charge, had the youngins on his side. If ultimately he didn't pass, what's telling about his run, right? So what I do say is Drake has been consistent, and through his consistency, not everything that he threw at the wall stuck. And I've been firm that since Views or Scorpion, he's really been like just dormant to me, right? I do not rank him as no greatest rappers of all time. I do not rank him as never in my MC lyricist list. But when it comes to entertainer or pop star or pop star, he's up there. He's up there with the likes of Nelly. He's up there with the likes of Ja Rule. He's up there with the Diddler. You know what I'm saying? I thought I told you he's that. Not saying Drake is whack, but he's been whack to me for a long time. And I just feel like it's to credit what you said, Joy D. He ain't got people fooled. It's just, bro, when you like all these streams that he gets, think about it. The guy's like what 3,000-4,000 songs. Of course, you're gonna generate all them streams. But when you put his catalog to someone who got half of it, and Bad Bunny, for instance, Bad Bunny only got like what 6 albums, like 5-6 albums. He got like what 3-4 minutes shy of what Drake's have in 15 years. Come on, people, ain't shit you could tell me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I will say I will give Drake his flowers as far as what he's done, his consistency, and within them 15 years he did have a run. He was killing his features, this and that. But as far as albums go, he hasn't. It's been like 7 years for me that he hasn't dropped a fucking cohesive dope project. Matter of fact, his last project that I liked it was the year that him and Pusha T got. So it was Scorpion, wasn't it? He dropped Scorpion right after the Pusha T beef. So that was the last time I really liked it. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about this in 2 weeks, Joy. If you're free to join us, we're gonna reevaluate Drake's 15 years, because I can tell you out the gate, the first 4 years, Wayne was running it, Jay-Z and Kanye, the throne was running shit. So Drake really didn't get his foot game. Nicki Minaj was running this shit before.
I was just about to say that.
You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna dissect that. But I just wanted to get y'all input on that because I agree with both of y'all. It's gonna be hard for me to, especially with the the asterisk, like, bro, you don't even write your own shit. I mean, we don't even know how much of your shit you wrote. So
facts.
So adding on to this interview, he addressed his relationship with Kanye. He's a genius, and his intuition is even more genius level. But that's why me and him don't get along, because he sees through my fakeness with him. He knows I don't think he's a man. He knows it, and that's why we can't build with each other no more. That's why me and him don't click, because he knows what I really think of him. It showed me his weakest side, and he knows how I think of weak people. Look, man, all I can say is look up his interview with Joe Budden when he was with Maury Mel about like 4 or 5 years ago, when he was into it with Drake, and that just his visibility would show you. Even this was even before the fallout, how he feels about Kanye. Orly, what you like? We've been talking about Kanye and whatnot, but Push has been silent about this situation, and this has been the most in that he has talked about Kanye since he left Good Music. This Pusha T, what you think?
Shit, he has all the right to feel that way. Shit, especially because Kanye fucking losing his screws. Motherfucker had people over there, and then it's like I was just talking to Colossus yesterday about how how we use the term like a culture vulture.
Yep.
I wouldn't necessarily say that Kanye's a culture vulture, but he's like a leech. You know what I'm saying? He
Vampire.
finds something. Yeah, he's like a vampire. Yeah, he finds something that's working, and he sees that how, and he's like, this could work for me. And he's done it with he did like I was saying earlier, he did it with Big Sean. I could tell like the similarity, the way that he treat fucking Cuddy. You know what I'm saying? After like all that Cuddy has kind of like done for his career. And then how the same shit with now with Pusha. You know what I'm saying? And they never had ever spoke any like ill will towards dude or treated dude any like in the public eye. You know what I'm saying? If there was anything, we never knew about it, but we knew about it because Kanye told us. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like you see how that like you see like the type of character that he portrays himself to be. You can't trust that motherfucker. He's a backstabber. You know what I'm saying? He'll throw you under the buses. If he got an opportunity and it's gonna help him, he's gonna throw you under the bus for that opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Joey D.
I agree 100%. And I'm a Kanye fan. I'm from Chicago, so
Yeah.
I've been fucking with Kanye for years. But ever since he started going crazy,
Mm-hmm.
they show their true colors. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
he
and
did
he
a lot
wasn't
of
always like
them
that, right?
guys. He did a lot of them guys dirty that were supposed to be, good music. Look at good music.
Yeah.
You're right. Big Sean and him sounded a lot alike for a long fucking time, and that's because he was doing Drake before Drake was doing Drake. You know what I mean? He was
Right.
get the new artists, hop on, get on their flow, get on their
Mm-hmm.
wave.
Mm-hmm.
Show, hey, I mean, what was the dude that Drake did super dirty? I am McConan. Club going up on a Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
That nigga's oh
Uh-huh.
shit.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he's gone. Same thing he tried to do with that's another cat that I feel like if he wouldn't have died early, Drake's run would have not have been as dominant was Triple X Tentacion. He was a
Mm-hmm.
weirdo, but he had a following and his
Call.
He
music
had
was
a
starting to
core
evolve.
following. Yeah.
His music was starting
Yeah,
to
like a
evolve. Because
cult.
when he first came out, I was like, I don't fuck with this shit. But after sitting down and listening to his music and all that and everything, I was like, okay, I see what he's doing. But yeah, he's absolutely
Mm-hmm.
right, bro. I mean, it's crazy when you bring up culture vulture because to me, when people say culture vulture, it's always a white motherfucker. They're always claiming that white folks or black folks are culture vultures because supposedly hip hop is a black culture thing, which we all know that's bullshit. It's multicultural. If you take this shit back to when it started, it was blacks and Hispanics, and it was hella white people in there too. When the four elements was the big thing: breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, and rapping. It was New York. It
Mm-hmm.
was all of that together combined.
It's a
So when
melting
every
pot.
time somebody says culture vulture, I think of they're talking about a white dude. But when you're using that term with Kanye, I think about it. I'm like, damn, you know what? You're right. Maybe Kanye was a culture vulture. You know what I mean? More like Nove said, a leech. You get
Mm-hmm.
onto something and
Vampire.
you suck it dry until it's not around
Mm-hmm.
no more, and then you move on to the next one.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I just thought that out of all people, Kanye should have just showed him a lot more respect because we all know Pusha T was the one who went to bat for. Matter of fact, he went to bat for
For
Kanye. Well,
Yeah.
and while he's in this battle with Drake,
you trying to be
every
friends.
peep this. Every time Pusha T would leave Wyoming, Drake will pull up. So that just shows, like you said, Orly, what type of person And I love Kanye, but it's true what you said. Like he's a snake. It just shows what kind of person he is.
Yeah.
He also revealed that. Oh yeah, this the one I wanted to get to. We were talking about weak ass Def Jam anyhow. How they threw Angelo Ball what the Jello Bardak, right? But anyhow,
Yeah.
Def Jam wanted
They messed up.
horribly. Def Jam wanted the Clips to ask Kendrick Lamar to change his lyrics on his verse from his appearance on Whips and Chains, right? And once they did not, the pusher was like, no, I'm not asking that man to change nothing. So they were like, well, we're not gonna put this song out. We're not even gonna drop the clip. So what ended up happening is Pusha T had to buy the Clips contract and his own contract out because I guess he owed a certain amount of albums to Def Jam. They also said that UMG so Pop Smoke, his album that dropped, not the first album, but the second album that dropped after he passed, there's a song on there with Pusha T. And that's under Universal. That whatever label Pop Smoke was under, him and Pusha T share the same manager. So they did a song together, and UMG did not want to clear it because they wanted Pusha to change the lyrics.
The lyrics.
How crazy is this shit, man? Like, or Joey, starting off with you. So Def Jam, first off, told Def Jam said, we need you to have Kendrick change the lyrics on a song that's supposedly not even dissing Drake. Supposedly he's not even dissing Drake. They just feel like the timing is wrong. Change your lyrics, or we're not releasing the song, or matter of fact, we're not releasing y'all. Pusha T buys himself out there. How crazy is this over Drake?
It's crazy it's crazy because of this. They're making a big deal over Drake, but if you listen to the only single that's out right now, the Ace Trumpets, he says, look at them, him and him, still waiting on Yeezy. I hope you got your squeegees. Best believe me. They're not making a big deal about him taking shots at Kanye whatsoever. Yep. But again, it comes back to the machine and what they want to push. They want Drake to be up on the pedestal because he's although he's a rapper, he's also a pop star. But he just happens to be under that umbrella. You know what I mean? So they're trying to protect their, how they say, you protect your golden goose. He's the golden goose right now.
Investment.
They give him anything he touches is gonna bring them. He's the money machine for them. You know what I mean? But what I gotta say about that is respect to the Clips, because they were like, nah, fuck you. I'm gonna buy myself out of my deal. There's speculation.
Yeah, that's wild.
He gave him the money, but after he bought himself out of a deal, guess what? They signed with Rock Nation.
Yeah.
So there was like, it was nothing. We took this little L, but we took this L, as people might see it as an L, but did they or did they not take a L? Because they didn't change their lyrics. They didn't change anything that they were doing. They were like, all right, fuck you, Def Jam. It's not like a little indie label. This is fucking Def Jam. No. This is one of the biggest labels ever. And the Clips looked at them and said, fuck you. We're going over here. I'm going to pay you to get out of my deal. And then right after that, I'm going to go sign with Jay-Z. So now anything they want to put out, Jay's not going to stop it. Jay don't like Drake. He's going to let that shit ride. And he don't fuck with Yeezy right now. So it was perfect timing. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's wild, bro. I've never seen no shit like this.
Def Jam, like you said, it's other labels are other labels. Def Jam was the place to be. Like LL Cool J, not Run DMC, but I don't know, man. So just to hear that this iconic label did this, it just shows where hip hop with them stands. Hip hop built your fucking house, and now hip hop's not even a priority. Fuck out of here.
Right. And it's crazy to happen now in a time where if we really, really think about it, you don't need a label. You just need to go viral. Half the
Much
shit that
love,
goes
Hank.
viral, salute Hectic. Yeah, man, I'm
Love,
gonna see if
heck.
I can get
I'll
out
see you
there.
later, bro.
Think
Enjoy
about
your
this,
night,
y'all.
brother.
Most of the shit that pops right now that
Bring
gets
your lungs.
all the views, that gets traction, 90% of it is garbage. I don't want to shit on Milwaukee artists because we're from here or whatever, but let's be real. What's her name? Maya P. She was a fairy. That song that's popping right now is popping because it went viral. It went viral, and everybody started doing that and doing it to that song now.
Okay,
I
I did
saw
see. I see a clip of that.
I saw out of state non-Milwaukee people. It's not about the music no more. It's about the can I take this song and take it to my personal TikTok and do the fucking stupid dance and get views just like they're doing. They don't really fuck with the music, they fuck with the motion. And that's the difference between now and 20 years ago when it came to music. 20 years ago when it came to music, you had to fight for your shit. You had to be good. You had to have Wu-Tang Clan to this day. They still have a following. Imagine if back then there was the internet. Wu-Tang would have popped off immediately and they would have never been underground. A lot of the shit that pops now is not because of music, it's because of gimmicks. And can I take this little song that Steve the Stoner made and do my own version of his dance and chase his clout? That's what they're doing. They're clout chasing. They're following trends because that's what they say now. Are you trending? You got music. That's dope music, but are you trending? You're not trending? Fuck your dope ass song. Because I got Maya P over here talking about she's a fairy and everybody's fucking with it. So it takes off that way. Like I tell a lot of people like, oh, that's a dope song. You should make a dance for it. And they're like, why? Because if the dance pops, you're gonna pop because everybody's gonna want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's crazy, bro. It's a whole different. It's like Nova says. It's a whole different animal. It's not the same animal that it used to be. The animal, the mutated, is different now.
Everything evolves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except for politics.
Shit. Let me see what else we got here. Okay, we covered that. Oh, by the way, the Clips' new album, which do feature that hit, let me not say hit song, that dope song. Ace Trumpets,
That's
bro.
fire.
Bro quoted some lyrics. Yeah, look, I was telling Orly last week that if the Clips would have hung around and was consistent with more projects, they probably would have been my greatest of all time. I ain't gonna lie to you. This Ace Trumpet, hearing them over them sinister beats like they used to do, sounds refreshing to me, guys. I wasn't worried about Pusha T because Pusha T been doing Pusha T.
No Malice, or now he's No Malice. No Malice, he's now.
Bro, they sound like they ain't missed a fucking step.
Right? It sounds like we back 10 years ago, like that new Clips came out.
Yeah, so I say all that to say this. If this project is what I'm thinking, I might have to put these guys in my top 3, bro. But we'll talk about duos coming soon here on GMTA Media.
Hint.
You know, they dropped July 11th. And what else do we got here? Yeah, that's it. We already covered that. Everything else. All right, guys. Let me highlight some new music, and then we get into the final topic, and we up out of here. So new music this week, y'all. We got DMX and Joyner Lucas, Bring Out the Wars, Fire. Meat Mill and G Herbo, Survivor's Guild, Fire.
Trash.
I like it.
Nah.
I like it.
The Clips, Ace Trumpets, Fire.
2 fire emojis on that one. 3 fire emojis on that one.
Matter of fact, bro, we're going to go with 3.
Throw them niggas a gas can.
Throw them. Styles, Daz Dillinger, my bad. DPG, Daz Dillinger, Destiny, Styles P's Little Farmer Bars Freestyle, and Milwaukee's own JP with My Piece. And that wraps up. Hey, that wraps up this week's new music. But anyhow, check out that Joyner Lucas and DMX. Orly, if you haven't, check it out.
I haven't either. That's the first I heard about it was today.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you something, guys. And Orly knows. I know he hate hearing this shit like a million times, but I'm very critical of Joyner Lucas, right? Because Joyner's dope.
Cold. He's cold. He's fucking fire.
He just don't know how to capitalize off moments.
Yes.
I can agree with you on that because he's been dope for a long time. I mean, he's on that track with Eminem, and they killed it.
Couldn't
capitalize.
Bro, you gotta fuck. Bro, the crazy thing about Joyner is like he has like Thanos.
Yeah,
He got a J. Cole feature, bro. He has a fucking Eminem feature.
Eminem.
He has a DMX feature. Who else is
Will Smith?
Will Smith feature?
Like Will Smith,
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That shit is wild.
That's crazy.
And it's like you say, he hasn't capitalized, like he hasn't really took like full advantage of those moments. You know what I'm saying?
No, because the time,
especially the Eminem one.
Yeah, he went and fucking engaged Tory Lanez and lost a battle.
Yeah.
I would have been like, fuck you, Tory. I'll deal with you later. I just got this M feature. I'm running this shit the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing with Joyner. I ain't got nothing bad to say about him musically because dude's dope and he got some of the best treatment when it comes to videos, like some of the best videos. So
oh yeah, man. His video would be snapping.
I ain't got nothing bad to say as far as that, but as far as him capitalizing off moments, I think we'll see. If you know what, if I think Joyner Lucas was in the Dave East position with that Wu-Tang series shit, I think that would have been dope for him. He could have capitalized off that shit.
He did a really good job on that playing Method Man, bro.
Yeah,
that was dope. He did really, really good, bro. Him and Joey Badass are legit. Like they can, like Joey Badass at what he's doing it's crazy. Like when the first time I watched it or whatever, like I was like, that nigga look familiar, and I was like, oh shit, that's Joey Badass. And then as that progressed, I thought when they killed him, off. And then when he came back to life in the show, I was like, oh shit, like he's really doing it. And people were like, all right, he's gonna be an actor now. And then he came back and shook the whole game up with what he's doing right now. Yeah. He's I took a break and I was acting, but now I came back to throw bars and darts at you niggas.
And what's dope about it, it's like we seen it. Like if you listen to the Rulers back to the last shit, we damn near seen him sharpen his skills. Like we seen him shake off the rust.
Yep.
You know, it was dope. Like that was a dope. We'll see the album, but right now it's a dope comeback. How Soulja Boy say, Tiger? What you mean? You know, so shout out to Joey Badass. But facts is, I'm gonna call him Joe Badass. Joey D's the only Joey I recognize, y'all. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get into, you know what you doing next week, Joey? You free?
I'm free, bro. If we here. I got my light set up now. I got my mic working. I'm here.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna react to Complex 50 list next week. Let's do the King of New York because I know y'all want to go to the battle or the beats or the beat battle. So I want to make sure y'all get to that early. So next week, y'all, if y'all still tuning in, and we're gonna take care of the Complex joint next week. We're gonna cover the top 50 and react to it, and we're gonna react to Game. You know, Game had issues with it as
Game
well.
off.
Hey, when No sent me that thing, bro. When he sent me like the thing, I thought that he really reacted off of our shit. I was like, this nigga really saw our shit. He's mad. Like, what the fuck?
LA Confidential's coming to Milwaukee.
Like, I didn't even see the chance. But yeah, we'll react to that next week. Let's get to before we get to the meat and potatoes, shout out everybody that's been watching. Shout out Heck, Reno, Who else? That's about it. Who
Mr.
talented?
Cliff, Mr.
Mr. Clinton.
Clifton, Adele, Juice.
Yeah, Juice. Shout out Juice.
Yeah. Then I think that
Juice
was
Yeah, he
it.
was in there. He was in
Yeah,
there.
Juice was in here. He didn't say anything, but I seen them watching.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always feel like
Shout out
somebody's
Fiona.
watching us. Nah, but shout out everybody that do tune in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, everybody that had a birthday that went past. I know there was a couple people that had a birthday. I don't remember who their names were, but I seen them on Facebook. Happy birthday to y'all.
Happy birthday. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes. Here we go, y'all. The Kings of New York. Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. Episode 34. What we're about to do is take a deep dive and look into the history and the prestige of the King of New York title, the runs, the battles, and the legacy that is the King of New York. Joey, before we get into the origins, in hindsight, now that we're looking back, what did the King of New York, like when we heard that, what did that mean to us as the listeners?
For me personally, it immediately made me think to the time of when they were really going at each other. The Jay-Z and Nas, the Pac and Biggie, you know, that era. But when it comes to East Coast, there's so many artists in the East Coast who had runs that it's when you're talking about the King of New York and you're talking about that, there's so many names that could be brought up in there. There's so many, there's a shit ton of mainstream that everybody knows about, but there's also the non-mainstream cats, because to me, when we talk about East Coast and we talk about New York and all that shit, bro, there's so many artists that people know if you follow rap. But if you're really into the game, you know about the underground artists who didn't get the radio play, but they were still some of the dopest MCs that were out at the time. For me, one of them is what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. The big white dude, the redheaded dude. Damn,
Action Bronson.
Action Bronson, Blue Chip Series. Bro, to me, he's got a legit run to being one of the dopest lyricists to ever come out of New York. But was he mainstream? Yes and no. Because yes, you knew about him, but you didn't know all the work that he put in and all the underground mixtapes that he had that made him legit. Then you have Wu-Tang Clan. There's so many artists in that one group, right? Then you have Method Man and Redman. You can't tell me that if we're talking about some of the dopest in New York, yeah, there's Wu-Tang, they're a staple, they're considered New York hip hop. But then there's Redman, you know what I mean? Then there's Action Bronson. Then there's fucking like we just said, what's his name? I can't put Joey Badass in there right now, but he's still to me one of the dopest artists to come out of that coast. I'm not talking strictly New York, I'm talking East Coast. Because when we were talking hip hop in our time, East Coast was running shit in the early 90s and all that. West Coast was coming up. They had their come up. Nobody was fucking with the South at that time until they started coming up. East Coast was hip hop because what they call it boom bap, the boom bap rap. You know what I mean? Yeah, the boom bap rap, and then all of a sudden came the down south beats and the fucking the run of Little John. You know what I mean? The crunk music and all that. So hip hop has taken it's been a roller coaster of change. It was at first, it was dominated by East Coast, then West Coast, then the South came in. I'm not going to say the Midwest ever really had a big run outside of. We haven't, nigga. Don't do me like that, nigga. Cuckoo, no, nigga.
Time out.
Big
He
run,
said the
I'm
Midwest.
talking about
Midwest. The
Midwest.
The biggest rapper is Eminem.
Nah, bro. He was not as big as the
Tech
East Coast
Nine.
run. True, but he's underground. So when I
wasn't big as
what I was about to say is outside of artists like Eminem, fucking Chicago, Bone Thugs, Twista,
Nelly,
Crucial
Kid
Conflict,
Kid Cudi.
again,
Nelly,
it
I'm not
wasn't.
saying dope. You said
I don't
big.
say we. I don't. I'm not going to say the Midwest ever dominated. We had runs, but we never dominated. When did the
Dominated
Midwest
them
dominate
charts.
the rap
We
game?
dominated them charts. We dominated them charts, family.
Mm.
Nelly
Now we're
went
gonna
diamond.
have to bump heads on this one.
No,
We're gonna have
Yeah,
to bump
Nelly
heads on this
went
one.
There's
diamond.
facts. There's facts. Though.
So did Eminem.
That's what
But
I'm saying. Midwest.
That was one artist. That was one artist.
Two artists.
Okay,
Eminem,
two artists.
Nelly,
Bone Thugs and
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
5 years in a row, they went 4 times platinum.
What did Cuddy
Kanye?
go? Platinum. Cuddy.
Kanye?
Kanye. Cuddy went platinum too, I think, if I'm not
I'm
mistaken.
not saying I agree. We're gonna get back to the topic of King of New York, but I won't say the Midwest. I will agree to the sense that outside of Eminem, I don't think that the Midwest, they be like my favorite rapper, the best rapper comes from the Midwest. Outside of Eminem's name probably being brought up. So I agree in the sense of that.
I just don't remember a time that when all the top shit was coming out of the Midwest. Like there was a time when all the top shit was coming out of the East Coast,
coming out of
and there was a time
one particular
all the top shit was coming out of the West. That's what I meant.
And then
like that was their era where it was dominated by that particular coast.
We had like hiccups.
Time. Yes. We snuck in. We snuck in and took a piece of it at point.
I understand. I get it.
Because I clearly can say that there was times where the LA ran shit for years at a time. There was a time where the South ran shit and New York ran shit. I don't ever remember one time outside of the few artists that you mentioned. And when they were running shit, they were running shit or making
it was just for that little period, and then it was somebody else's turn. It took over for a long time.
I'm still waiting for when all the dope shit came out of the Midwest during that era. You know what I mean? Not gonna happen. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I agree with that 100%. But not to veer off. No, it's not to disagree with nothing you said. But we're gonna stick now to the New York scene, right? You're right. You told us how Common said, I used to love her, where hip hop went, where, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is this. We're going to go to the West Coast for a little bit because I would like to keep this timeline going. 92, The Chronic, right?
Yep.
93, Doggy Style.
Yep.
94, Murder Was the Case.
Right.
So the West Coast, even 95 and 96, but I'm sticking to them years, they were dominated. They're on top of the game. Nobody's selling like Snoop. Snoop at this moment is the biggest artist, right? But there's the artist we're going to get to. The guy in the middle, Biggie Smalls. Biggie said, I want to sell records like Snoop's. Oops, I'm interrupted by the door. So Biggie knew the mission. But let's get to this King of New York thing. We obviously know it comes from the movie Kings of New York, Frank Wright, the character played by Christopher Walken. The first time I ever heard this mentioned in the song was Schoolie D's Kings of New York, but we're not going to acknowledge that as far as he's the King of New York because he's from Philadelphia, and he didn't make reference of nothing of him running New York. It was more a tribute to the film. Let's get to Biggie. Biggie was like the first guy. Like the black.
That's whoever I heard. That's the first one I heard. Yep.
The Black Frank White. I want to be the King of New York. I want to be it. Then obviously on Life After Death, he was like, "Ain't no other kings in this rap shit. They siblings. One shot, right? Right." So we're gonna talk about who could have and what not next. But let's just stay on the timeline. 94, Ready to Die drops. Few remixes later, it turns the faith around for Ready to Die and puts Big in a position, right? Because the West Coast dominated. Biggie was able not to only put himself in position, but put Bad Boy on the map, right? Outside from his feature from Craig Mack, Biggie was the guy who was anchoring this shit. So we talk about the guy who brought the title to the game, right? Biggie. So 94, let's just talk about it. 94, he does Ready to Die. 95, I think that's when the Junior Mafia, the Conspiracy,
That shit
all
was
these,
fire.
all the freestyles he's done, the remixes he's done. Then ultimately he dropped his double disc in 97. So 94 to 97, Biggie. King of New York. That's the title he claimed. That's the title he brought to the game, right? The only person that was contesting him at this time was obviously Nas. When he said, yeah, at the end of the message, he said there's one life, one love. So there only could be what?
One king.
One king of New York.
Right? So let's talk about it, guys. 94, 97, 94, Illmatic did some shit. Classic. Ready to Die, classic, but I think it had more commercial success where Illmatic was more critically acclaimed, right? Like it got its flowers from the purists and etc., right? But 94 to 97, Biggie established himself. I say Nas was his only, as far as when it comes to commercial success, his viable opponent. Would y'all agree with that, Joey D?
Yes and no, because in 95, in that same time, you had Only Built for Cuban Links,
Classic.
which dropped in 95, and then the fucking Jizza with Liquid Swords.
He's the best rapper out of Wu-Tang.
Correct. I can agree with you on that one.
Aside from Method, you mean?
No, Method's dope rapper, but and he got flow and style, but I don't think he's fucking with Jizza lyrically as an MC, bro.
I think the whole Wu-Tang Clan could be a episode in itself where you could put all of them against each other and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, that shit would be crazy.
My favorite is
I like
so 95
Raekwon.
Right. Only Built for Cuban Leaks. Classic. Wu-Tang Clan come from they are that era. They are that era, right?
Yeah.
They are that era. They're viable. I mean, Only Built for Cuban Links on Purple Tape at the end of that skit. He shitted on Big for copying Nas's album.
Yes.
Okay, but you got Raekwon and who you said? Raekwon and who else? And Jizza or Lito. What about you? Who you think was viable contenders? Because this is his title. This is the title he brought to the game. So we're gonna, how you say, create opponents for him. Who you thought was viable for him during this time? Let's start.
I would have said Raekwon, and I like Meth.
And Meth was big at the moment. Riding off the success of Tikal.
That album's fire.
I see it. I can see that.
Then he had already swung with some big hitters, right? Because he had already fucked with Pun already at that time, or no?
Yep.
No.
On the underground,
not yet.
When Pun was doing Full Eclipse Crew before he was Terror Squad, that was that era in 95.
When he was with Cuban Link and
he was Big Moondog. He was Big
Moondog. Yeah.
There you go, Big Moondog. Yep.
It was Big Moondog.
Yeah, you're right. It was before he became the Punisher.
And I think he was already cool with Fat Joe and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's on his album in 95.
Yeah, and then with some on the yellow one, right?
Yep.
That the Don Cartagena one?
No. He's on that one, but on the one prior to that, he's on there as Big Moondog. Look him up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's on there. So to me, 94 obviously is. I'm talking about on the big landscape. Then I'm gonna talk about who was contenders to me. Biggie and Nas to me were neck and neck until 97. And the reason I say that because 96, if you take if you listen to Illmatic and then you listen to It Was Written, it's only a 2-year difference, fellas, right? But you clearly see the big bad boy influence on it was, and I love It Was Written. Don't get me fucked up. It's classic.
I know
to
exactly
me.
what you mean, bro. I know what you mean. The vibe was a whole different vibe.
Illmatic was more the sense of your traditional old school East Coast boom bap classic style of album, where then you turn around 2 years later, you drop a modern day hip hop sounding
a shiny suit dancing ass album.
You understand what I'm going? So, and that's not to take away from Nas, but to me, that's where the influence of Bad Boy and Big is, right? Big is flossing on these R&B joints.
Yeah, you're right. He really, really was, bro. All that they turned Biggie into a Fat Mac, the Fat Mac. You know what I'm saying? Well, how does he say? He says something about
fat black,
never,
as ever,
yeah,
however.
Fat black, ugly as ever. However, coochie down to the socks. Yeah, yep, facts, bro.
But if I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not taking they're both debut albums mean something to the culture, no matter what's rated above each other, right? But for the sake of sticking to who I feel like 94, Nas had it in a bag because critically acclaimed, they called him a god MC right out the fucking gate. Like, this is the future of this shit. This is Rakim's second coming, which I believe he's a Coogee rap second coming. People don't realize Nas, Big Pun, they Coogee rap babies to me, right? But that's another story. But it was Written is what changed the conversation, because now we're gearing up for Life After Death in 97, and It Was Written for sure was influenced by Biggie. Orlito. You said Method Man. I think that's a valid argument. And the only reason I say that is because he's Big's only feature on Ready to Die.
That's facts. You're absolutely right.
So you're not far-fetched with that. And I don't see why not. He was outselling these guys at this time. He was the biggest shit. He comes from Wu-Tang Clan. You know, so yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about Method. I thought about Method Man, but I didn't think of him in that sense. But great argument. But to me, the best album in 95 was what you brought up, Joy. Only Built for Cuban Links.
Yeah.
That's
I'm telling you. That was that era,
classic.
Bro.
Now, when it comes
the other thing that I feel like it's getting by us right now, that's why I'm bringing it up. In that same time frame between 92 and 95, there was another MC who was in there that was completely killing the game and giving everybody a run for their money. But again, he died early, and his name is Big Motherfucking L. A lot of these guys swagger jack Big L after he died.
Yeah, but bro, we gotta say he was a dope MC. We can't even give him.
So he didn't have we had an album or no?
You don't have that. He didn't have a catalog like these guys did. He didn't have a catalog like these guys who we're talking about.
He did stamp. He did put his stamp on the game from Digging in the Crates crew. If I'm not mistaken, Children of the Corn was supposed to be him. So he left a mark. But one of the greatest.
Fat Joe come from there?
Yeah, from Digging in the Crates. He's on Fat Joe's on his album. Fat Joe's on Big L's album. As far as top 50 MCs, I'll put him in there. I put him in the top 20 I won't even argue that.
In 95, in that same time frame, he had Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. That was the album that he dropped. That album, if you go back and listen to it and you think about that era and everything that dropped, that album was fucking with everything that was dropped in 95. He was rapping his ass off at that time.
He was a problem. He was a problem. Big L. You know what I mean? And he was that rapper that you could find him on the corner rapping his ass off against anybody. He just never got that mainstream fucking push. But again, that goes back to what I said before. There's people who know rap and there's people who know motherfucking rap. You know about the people who got pushed by labels,
but there's also people who never got a push that were from the street or from underground. Because back then,
the motherfuckers that never got drafted type shit.
Exactly. You had the G League niggas that were killing the
Yeah.
NBA niggas. They just never got pushed to the foreground like those the Wu-Tang clans, the fucking Biggies, those guys did. There was a whole core of niggas. Back in that time frame, you had, you know how we have this argument now of the old school and the trap and the fucking the drill and all that shit. Back then it was mainstream and underground. There was a whole different, there was two different playing fields. If you really knew music, you knew about the people who were being pushed, but you also knew about the underground. And a lot of people were like, oh, I don't listen to that mainstream. There was people who would say Wu-Tang is fucking mainstream, but I don't listen to that shit because I fuck with the underground. This was before they became the cultural icons that they currently are. So that was the difference. To me, I feel like Big L gets respect, but he also gets slept on when it comes to conversations like we're having now. And that's because he didn't have the longevity, he didn't have the catalog. But for what he did in the time frame that he did, like Nova said, he was a fucking problem to these dudes. So when he passed, a lot of people got a fucking pass because they started swagger jacking his whole style. And Jay-Z was one of them niggas. Yeah, bro. Go back and listen.
You forget Jay-Z was rapping like that with fucking Jazzo back in the 90s.
Jay-Z was rapping like Crucial Conflict when he first came out.
That's what I'm saying.
Butter commercial.
And if you listen to Big L, like, okay, put it like this. Reasonable Doubt, which we're going to get to in a sec. Matter of fact, save that conversation for when we get to Reasonable Doubt.
I got you.
We're going to get to it. So you got a valid argument for Raekwon. I thought he dropped the dopest project. You got a valid argument for Method. I thought on the landscape, it was only Nas. Like, Nas was the only one who was able to breathe down Biggie's neck, especially what you said, the machine. Nas didn't have a machine behind him.
He did not.
Nas came in the game for Dolo. So, obviously, Biggie created this crown, created the title, and unfortunately, he passed away, right? King of New York. When they say King of New York, they're talking about the city. Now it's the state, but then it was just the city, and we're talking about Staten Island, Bronx, Brooklyn, what else? We got Queens, and Manhattan, which Harlem is part of Manhattan. So we got the 5 boroughs, right? And
you just said Harlem. You just said Harlem, and a whole nother group of niggas just jumped in my head.
Yeah, because Manhattan, Harlem's in Manhattan. So when the King of New York, it was 5 cities. I mean, it was 5 boroughs in one city, and Biggie died. So we already know Nas said, or Lito, what was it? He said, one life, one love, so there only could be one king at the end of the message, right? Right?
Yeah.
So Nas was, I'm going for this, but in 97, when Big died, Jay-Z said on a song, let the world know something, I'm going to continue to reign. So for a world for amnesia won't forget your name, you held it down long enough. Let me get them reins. Right? So he's basically stating his claim like, I'm coming for this crown now, right? Right? Is it fair to say that?
Yes. Correct.
So he said this in 97. Nas over here itching, hasn't dropped the project. Now we're going to get to a guy from Yonkers, New York. Yonkers, y'all. Not New York City, but Yonkers. 1998. It's dark. Hell is hot. Rough Riders. We talking about DMX, man. He came out of nowhere, fellas. 2 times dropped in this year, both 5 times platinum. Def Jam said this first fucking album was so fucking nigga. We dropped Jay-Z, Ja Rule, and all. This album was so successful. We need another one right now.
Yeah.
Right fucking now. Nas is over here talking about there's only one king. You went Jay-Z talking about I'm coming for it. He didn't stake his claim, but here goes a guy from the Yankees, came in through the door blazing. And what can I say? Did he take the crown, guys?
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. And the way he came out, he had a whole different style than what was supposedly the standard. It wasn't that lyrical shit. He came out with that. He's the only nigga that I know that could shut down a whole show by doing a prayer. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like Method Man said it. Method Man said he hated to have to go on after DMX. He was like, "What the fuck are you gonna do?"
Yeah, even
after
Jay
DMX?
said that shit. Yeah.
What are you gonna do after DMX? Like that nigga goes and he has people crying. Now I gotta go up there and rap. These niggas is crying and shit. So yeah, absolutely right. That's why the king of New York is probably, when it comes to that, it's probably the hardest one of them all. Yeah, the LA shit was hard, but Pac won. And when you think of LA, what do you think? You think about Pac. When you think about New York, you got a lot of shit that runs through your head if you know music.
And that's the problem when, like, I wasn't mad. We were going to react to the complex thing because we did something on the West Coast the week prior, right?
Right.
So that's why I can't be mad at nobody's list. Right. It's hard. You might ask me today who's my favorite 50, and then you might ask me again 3 months from now. You be like, "Hey, ain't the same list." I'm like, "I know, I don't feel the same." You know, Orlito, your thoughts of basically the takeover of not just Rough Rider, but how DMX bum rushed the game. 98.
Yeah, man, that shit was it was crazy because it's like you said that he dropped that first album, right? And they needed him to drop another one. Right away.
Like that. Right away. You know what dropped that year, right? Jay-Z's Volume 2, which was his biggest selling album of all time.
Yeah.
So we're talking about they dropped this album. So Def Jam, and we just shitted on Def Jam. You see Def Jam while we shitted on your fool ass? Like, so 98, Jay-Z drops what was supposed to be his crowning achievement moment. It's overshadowed by this guy. How, you know how Joey said it wasn't the trend at the moment. The trend on the East Coast was shiny suits, and people got so bad PTSD of that shit that they forget that moment only lasted 1 year because it was shut down by DMX instantly.
Yep,
the aesthetics changed. The street, you know, DMX opened that door for
the grit. Right.
This year we're talking about 98. I'm not talking about he opened the door as far as put him on, but as far as the content that was going through. Nori dropped his debut project 98.
Yep.
Damn, I was just gonna say his name. Fuck. I had his name in mind. Damn, someone else that's from the East Coast dropped in 98. Oh, Big Pun. How can I forget Big Pun?
I thought Big Pun.
My bad, y'all.
I'm not very good with the numbers.
Capital Punishment was, and still to this day, is one of the fucking most well put together albums for a new artist. Because technically he was a new artist.
Debut.
I've never seen. There you go. I've never seen a debut project that had that much fucking fire in it in an era where the competition was fucking crazy. It's like Nelly said. Nelly said, when I was rapping, I had to deal with Jay-Z, Nas, DMX, Lil Wayne. That was an era, bro. That's when there was everybody. It was like going to the UFC and every fucking match was the fucking title fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. It's not like, and not to say now, but realistically, yeah, now it's so open that anybody could come in and drop one fire project.
Everything is oversaturated.
It oversaturated with garbage at that. Back then, it was oversaturated, but it was oversaturated with heat. So it was a whole different fucking ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to have to wait for shit. You used to have to go and get CDs from the fucking store. You know what I'm saying?
I remember when
Rip the
Doggy Style
package
dropped.
open.
When Doggy Style dropped, you know how when they drop Jordans and there's a fucking line around the block to
Mm-hmm.
get the shoes?
Camelot
That's how it
music.
was. Yep, that's how it was. It was like just lines of people waiting to get the fucking album. You know what I mean? That's how you knew it was gonna be
Shit crazy.
a classic.
Yeah, 98. Capital Punishment, Nori, 400 Degrees, which is a fucking classic. But
That's when the South started creeping up.
yeah. But I wanted to agree to disagree with you about Capital Punishment, right? I agree totally, but I gotta disagree. The reason why that album, like, to me, lyricists, people are gonna hate me for stating this, but Big Pun is better than Biggie.
Oh no, I
As a
agree. I
lyricist.
agree, hands down.
Yeah, as a lyricist for
As
sure.
a lyricist, not a rapper.
Yeah.
I thought.
No, I agree with you.
You know, but Big don't get the flowers he deserves. He laid the fucking blueprint for the rest of these motherfuckers, because the only reason Big Pun's album was able to be so well put together like that, because life after death. We're gonna get to that. I still believe what haunts Jay-Z on Volume 1, which I think is a classic, was chasing that ghost. Chasing life after. You know what hurt it? Nas with Nostradamus? Chasing that ghost.
Yeah, you're right.
But the aesthetic, but we'll get into it. 98, he dropped 2 projects. 99, he dropped Flesh of My Dark Hell Inside Flesh of My Flesh. And then there was X. That was his biggest album ever because of that. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Up in here. He was doing Hollywood stuff. Got Romeo Must Die.
Yeah.
Exit Wounds.
Belly. The year he came out,
Belly.
98. On his debut year, he's on Belly with Nas. Who's been in the game. So it's without a doubt, not saying he's the best, but without a doubt, DMX was the biggest in New York from 98 to 99. And that's crazy to say because Jay-Z just sold 5-6 million on Volume 2, and that got like 8 hits on it by itself. Don't it? Got like Can I Get a Money and a Thing? This shit with Jazzo. Like, that's a crazy year. So 98 to 99, outside of Jay-Z, to me, who y'all see as X's like prime contender?
I don't think he had a prime contender because everybody comes back to this era and talks about how Jay-Z was the king and Jay-Z is the king of New York, but Jay-Z never had a run. When Jay-Z had his run,
he was the best at the time, though.
And listen, I'm the biggest Jay-Z fan ever. To me, Jay-Z is one of the dopest, but Jay-Z never dominated the game because there was X and everything that came after that. He got overshadowed in a sense.
Sales.
Yeah, sales, but I mean, he had Rockefeller. I feel like this. I feel like Jay-Z is always put up as the king because he had Dame Dash, Rockefeller, and Biggs, and they knew how to maneuver.
I do not.
You don't think so?
I don't agree with that.
I don't know, bro. Because if you think about it, when people say Jay-Z had the game or whatever, Jay-Z at one point was being overshadowed by motherfucking Ja Rule. Then he was overshadowed by DMX.
DMX is different. I won't say Ja Rule.
I agree with you as far as being the dope lyricist and all that other shit, but I don't feel that there was a time when Jay-Z was really, the fucking cream of the crop, because every time he was coming out, he was in an era of competition. He was in an era where there was dope ass MCs and he held his own. But again, I'm a big Jay-Z fan. Jay-Z's in my top 10 easily, bro. Possibly my top 5, but he might fall down to 6, 7, or 8 in the top 10. But I feel like when Jay was coming out, yes, he was dropping heat, but he always had somebody that was overshadowing him, whether it have been DMX, whether it have been the fucking Locks, because we forget about the Locks, bro. The Locks were fucking dominant at one point, bro.
They were dope. They were not dominant, fam. You tell me.
Okay, maybe not in sales, but to me, in quality of music, bro,
Quality
Jada
of
Kiss is a
bars.
problem.
Quality
Okay, quality of bars. Quantity of bars. Jada
Music.
Kiss is a fucking problem.
I agree with bars.
Yes.
But let's be real. What song or songs of Jada Kiss makes you feel confident he could have carried the torch of that coast? I can't think of one. Now, bars, oh yeah, I'll put him in my 5. Like, man, if I need this fucking song to be fire with he's in
I'm calling Jada Kiss.
for sure. But what I mean, like, I'm not gonna say who you like better or who you think's the best, but let's take in consideration this. And Orly, chime in. Okay, Ja Rule had all these hits, right? Had all these hits. Bitches were the only ones trying to get him on songs.
Yeah.
Outside of Fat Joe, and I think the only reason Ja Rule was on that song because he wanted Ashanti on the song.
And they ended up switching his vocals, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
They took his vocals off for Ashanti's vocals.
For Ashanti's. So okay. So 98 to 99, DMX. I say Jay was his viable contender. Because 99. And the reason why I say 99 is I think that was volume 3. And I'm not talking about the hits Big Pimpin', but I'm talking about as far as the rapping. That's the last best Jay-Z whole pre. I think Blueprint is a classic album, right? But if we talk about Jay-Z on some lyricist rapping shit, people always tend to look at Reasonable Doubt, right? Now, when you think of Reasonable Doubt, there's no rapping like Reasonable Doubt on volume 1, just bits and pieces like Where I'm From and shit like that. But volume 2, he totally veered from that style. Volume 3, to me, that's a little bit of the old Iceberg Slim, Reasonable
Iceberg
Doubt.
Slim, Baby Rap Rich. Yep.
Yeah. So that's why I say 99 is probably the only time I probably could throw Jay as over DMX, even though DMX and Then There Was X was a bigger album, but I don't think it was a better album. Your thoughts on that, Orlito?
Say that again.
So volume 3, Jay-Z, right? I feel like not hit-wise, but rapping, lyricist was the closest we got to Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z in a long time from volume 1, volume 2 type shit, right? But I also stated that I feel like that volume 3 is better than DMX's and Then There Was X. What you think about that? And then
I would have to see their track list because I don't even remember the track list on both of those projects. I know you said it. This Is X had that one song. Was good. Family. What's up, Isai? Shout out, Isai.
Appreciate you tuning
you said
in, brother.
Did it had that one that
It had Big Pimpin'. The weakest song on volume 3 was that shit with him and Mariah Carey, bro.
Bro, I mean, and Then There Was X. Could
and then there was X
weakest album, but there was the Canon.
Which one was the one you said that they said it was his best album, or they like critically acclaimed his best album? DMX's, yeah, because of that hit song you said.
His biggest album, and Then There Was X. That one, Party Up.
The biggest album, yeah. What else did that album have on it? Nothing,
bro. One more road to cross, one more risk to take.
That's my shit.
Gotta live my life like there's one more move to make. That shit killed the whole Jay-Z album, nigga. That one shit killed the whole Jay-Z album. No, he snapped on that shit, bro.
Man,
like
go listen to Hova intro. Listen to what he said on Hova intro, and then tell me that again.
What about What's My Name?
Time out. You ain't even got to listen to the whole album, family. I'm just saying, listen just to that intro and tell me that again. And then I'll be like, okay, I respect it.
I feel like the prayer on The prayer on And Then There Was X kills that shit. Kills Jay-Z's intro.
Bro, the prayer on that was the weakest one out of all the prayers, mano. And then there was X. The first two prayers for sure. Matter of fact, we're gonna do that 2 weeks from now. DMX, and then there was X versus Volume 3. We're gonna go track for track, and Orly, you're gonna have to decide.
I bet.
Got him. So let's continue. So, okay, so I say for sure 98 to 99. I give it an X. I slightly believe 99. Jay-Z was rapping better. Joey, you give it an X.
I give it the X.
Orlito,
I give it a J.
Okay.
I give it to X. Listen, I give it to X, but I feel like Jay-Z's still a better lyricist than X. I still say that, but that year I got to give it to X.
I always agree he's that, but he still didn't put out a better album than DMX with that fucking what's that weak ass shit? It had hits. Don't get me fucked up. Volume 2 got hits like a motherfucker, but I just didn't like the album. It wasn't cohesive like Reasonable Doubt, like the Blueprint, like how American Gangster would later become. You know what I mean?
American Gangster was fire.
Yeah, and I feel like Volume 2 was like he was chilling like this. He had a whole bunch of different artists and like, we're gonna do a song, these all hits. Let's just slap all these hits on here. Fuck a theme or whatnot. That's how I felt about Volume 2.
Filler. It was all filler.
There you go.
It was all filler. It was all the shit that he promised his homies they were gonna put out. All right, fuck it, let's do this while I work on my shit.
Capital Punishment killed that shit. Nori.
Oh yeah.
What was killing that shit?
Yeah, Super Thug.
You know, so now we get into 2000, 2001, Jay-Z, the Dynasty Blueprint 1. Hands down, I feel like Jay-Z came into his comfort zone. He's cocky. I'm the nigga now. I got the hits. You see me kill his features, et cetera, et cetera. Big told you I'm his man. I'm part of the commission. I think this is where Jay-Z felt like this is the time to really assert my authority. Again, we're a year before 99. We talked about DMX's, but let's be realistic. Nas dropped Nostradamus. To me, his weakest album. So it made it, to me, easy for Jay-Z to, what we could say, slam dunk this, get the title.
Yeah, he got it.
Orlito, this is the Dynasty Blueprint 1. I know we're gonna get into the Blueprint 2 in a second, but Blueprint 1, Kanye, etc. To me, I think this is the album that helped solidify Jay-Z's catalog again to me, because it steered off where I'm a guy where when I think of the greatest of all times, I think of great albums, right? So when we talk about great runs of albums, I won't say he ever had until later on, but I won't say he fell short on bars or lyrics, but I still believe Volume 2 was a filler. Volume 3, he was rapping. I think he was rapping his ass off, but I don't feel like that was a great album either. But I think lyrically he was killing shit. And the Blueprint helped him solidify his claim of King of New York to me, as far as not only my rapping good, but the music's good now. Orlito, what do you think about Jay-Z's final ascension into this position during this time? Let's think about 2000, 2001. We already talked about Nas, DMX, now it's Jay-Z.
And you said what projects were around that time?
Right now we're talking about, because I believe in 2000, 2001, it was
for Jay-Z.
For Jay-Z, 2000 and 2001. So Dynasty, Blueprint 1.
Yeah. I don't really remember Dynasty like that, except for like that one.
Change the Game.
That's the one with that. That shit.
Mind Right with Snoop Dogg. The shit with Beanie Siegel. This Can't Be Life with Scarface and Beanie Siegel.
Oh, okay. That was nice.
That's some shit on there.
Yeah.
How about you?
And then I know the Blueprint.
Yeah.
I know what's on the Blueprint. Yeah.
From Volume 3, like we forget it. That's when this was the era where they were looking for the dope female, and Jay-Z had a mill.
A mill.
Mhm.
And I feel like obviously Jay-Z's Jay-Z, but when Jay-Z needed that extra push to get that extra crowd, he threw a mill in some shit. Because there was what the fuck was the name of the song? It was a mill and Beanie Siegel. Do it again. Throw your hands up. Dun, dun, throw your hands up. That one fucking
Rockwaller on the beat. We forget about
Rockwaller. Yeah. That I think that one record, because Volume 3 had a lot of shit on it. But to me, that one record with Beanie Siegel and the Mill, that 12 a.m. now we at the club. That shit, bro, that shit dominated the whole fucking year. That one fucking song.
That's true. I forgot about
that song. That shit right there. He also had Juvenile on that album, if we remember back.
That's what I'm saying.
He had that on there.
Snoopy track.
He had another record on there with a Mill and Memphis Bleak, bro. What the fuck was the name of it? I'm trying to look for it.
So you're helping my argument about 99.
Pop for Rock. That one album, bro. That one album.
That's what I'm saying. 99.
That one album, yeah, bro. But again, like Jay-Z. No. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to what we were talking about earlier.
No, about that and then where it's sex.
No, let's go back to Kanye and motherfucking Draking the game. Jay-Z was Draking and Kanyeing the game at that time by taking these other fucking... Bro, Beanie Siegel was colder than Jay-Z on his best day. You're going to tell me that you're not... if we had to go bar for bar, you're going to tell me that Beans was not better than Jay-Z?
When Beanie got to the Rock, yes, I will say that. Fucking the truth, the reason, and the beat coming. For sure, right. I will say that. But people forget, Jay-Z said it himself. I used to rhyme like common sense.
Yeah.
He told people I dubbed down. And the reason I say that, Orlito, chime in, because you sent me or I sent you this. When the news reporter broke down Jay-Z's freestyle about the plane.
Right.
Bro. All you gotta do is
Mano.
Listen.
Check this out. Take volume 3. Take volume 3 and take away all the features. Is it still the best album of the year?
No, I'm not. Hell no. I'm saying between him and
because he got Eve on that album. He got Eve on that album too, bro.
No. I'm not saying that's the best album. I'm saying between him and DMX's, and then there was X.
Right.
No. My argument wasn't that was the best album. That ain't even his best album. That's not my argument.
If you take, bro, Jigga, my nigga, that had Eve on it. That's why I feel like when we started talking about this and I started thinking about it, I was like, damn, this nigga was Drake in the game before Drake in the game was popular.
No,
because he had everybody on that shit for the hits.
But listen though, the difference between Jay and Drake, Jay put the culture back in a great position.
Yes, facts.
Every feature he done, he either returned a favor or let's just bring up Lil Wayne, who's over here, me. When he's in tax problem, Jay-Z's the one who threw them the bread. I'm not saying he's a great, but I'm just saying people overlook certain things. All I'm saying is Jay-Z said it himself, and I believe him. Even Beanie Siegel said it on songs like, he don't be giving me 110%. He don't give me he holds back. He holds back.
Mm-hmm.
But you were on the tail end of 2001. So Dynasty 2001 Blueprint. I can't really Cal 2000 sucked to me. So he's not in the conversation these years for me. Nas DMX is the only one at this time until the tail end of 2001. Joey, I know you're about to bring him up. I'm about to bring him up next. What about you, Orlito? Who do you think was a visible opponent for Jay-Z at this time? Because I think 2000, if he was alive, he would have tweaked that. Yeah, baby. I think Big Pun could have been in position in 2000.
Yeah.
He had visibility. How about you, Orlito? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that sounds a big pun, definitely.
Because now you're creeping into the 50 Cent era.
That's where we're about to. Yeah.
Yeah,
And this where your point. I want to see if you make a point about Jay-Z that I'm gonna make, because there's something about I noticeably noticed about Jay-Z during this run. But go ahead, Mano.
But before that, I can't really think of anybody like that. In them times, like who else was dropping projects like that?
I mean, Ghostface, we're like a year shy or 2 years shy from Supreme Clientele, if I'm not mistaken.
yep.
Right? And I think Ghostface so highly underrated. I think he got 3 classics under his belt.
Ghostface.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. You know how we you know how we talk about certain rappers and certain people's babies? Action Bronson is a Ghostface baby.
Yeah. Facts.
West Side Gun from
Yeah.
Griselda is a Ghostface baby. You know, so he's very highly underrated. So now, how about you, Joy? It's safe to say 2000, 2001 is Jay?
Early 2000s was Jay. You're right. 2000 to 01, maybe even 02. Maybe. Because we haven't even hit the Black album.
No, but we're going to get there. But you said 02, and that's interesting because Orly Blueprint 2 is on 02. But at the tail end of 2001, we know Stillmatic drop.
Yeah.
Nas finally, can we say, snatched the crown? Drop Stillmatic? Or are we still giving it to Jay? The battle doesn't give him the crown.
If Nas had the crown, it was short lived.
Yeah, but that's only because Nas didn't drop as much as Jay-Z did.
But
if Nas dropped as much as Jay-Z, it might be a different story. We don't know that.
I totally agree with that. But I believe Nostradamus is the hit that he took.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one.
Because if Nostradamus would have succeeded, even if like commercial is not everything, critical acclaim is something too. Like, yo, this shit, I don't remember nobody saying Nostradamus is fucking a classic or even a hot project. So you too, Joy, agree that Stillmatic was probably just, if he did have a run in short reign?
Yeah.
Because
I'm not talking like who's best lyrically, because to me Nas outshines Jay-Z lyrically. But when we're talking album sales and having that push and being when you think about hip hop, who was the dude at that time? It was Jay-Z. And again, I'm a Jay-Z fan. I'm not shitting on Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I'm just being technical with how I see the shit. But to me, Nas is a better lyricist than Jay-Z any day. Because
I don't think a better rapper, but a lyricist for sure.
If a better lyricist, because if I think about it, Nas is a lyricist and Jay-Z's a dope boy rapper, just who has bars and who can play with words. A lot of dope boy rappers can't do that. They can't do that. And commercial success.
No, but
then again, the commercial success is because of the machine, the Dame Dash and the Bigs.
Okay, not the commercial success. I'm talking about, I don't agree with that, bro. Like, because Jay-Z did talk about dope. That was his forte, but there's so much depth to Jigga, bro. He covered a lot of bases just to put him in that box.
He did once he started doing the pop shit. When he started including all the features and all the Maya. We forgetting about Maya and Jay-Z.
Bro, you forget Reasonable Doubt. He did talk about selling dope, but he also talked about the other side of it. Like like, I don't know. He covered dope. Okay, everybody talk about, I'm selling rocks, I'm selling to this, I'm making money. He talked about the pain that shit could cause. Like, he got into mental, like, I don't know, bro. Jay-Z really, I don't know. We're gonna have to sit down and listen to some shit again, bro. I feel like Jay-Z covered a lot of different deaths. How about you, Orly?
No, yeah, I agree.
Different layers.
Some people say like he's not like, you know, like as lyrical as lyricist or whatever, but Jay got that type of flow that he could say something and you might not catch that shit now, but you might catch it later. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, damn, that's what
You
he
know,
was
it
talking
might
about.
because that be mature ass bars a lot of the time. Sometimes we can't grasp what he's talking about because it's like ahead of what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't comprehend. You can't comprehend shit if you're not dealing with that type of shit. But then eventually you might end up going through some shit and be like, damn, that's what this nigga was talking about when he said that. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of bars like that to me, you know what I'm saying? Like how you was kind of saying, no, he do got bars where he talking about like slanging dope and shit like that, but then he talk about like, um, he kind of telling you like the what you say, I was raised in the projects, roaches and rats, smokers out back, selling their mama's sofa. He's painting you like a more vivid picture of like, the hood and like what comes along with those certain choices.
Yep.
The certain choices that you make, you know what I'm saying, and the outcomes and what, you know what I'm saying, just shit like that. So I don't know. I think that Jay will still have the edge for me.
Okay, so Stillmatic does not give. Well, basically,
because even because Stillmatic was because Stillmatic was like around because what did Jay-Z respond with that? He had some off the Blueprint too, right?
No, actually,
or was that Blueprint?
No, Blueprint 2 was dope. That song, it was called the Blueprint 2, but he responded with Super Ugly, and that's where he shouldn't have.
Like the super diss. Right. Like the super disrespectful diss. Right.
So, okay. Nas dropped a dope project, but it wasn't enough to sway. But I agree with Joy. It was short-lived because right around the corner, here comes another natural disaster to New York by the name of 50 fucking Cents and G Unit. Without a doubt, impact, commercial success, critically acclaimed. The guy covered all three bases on Get Rich or Die Trying. Jay-Z warned his label, get your shit off. There's going to be a tsunami coming. He let the game know what was coming. From 2003 to 2005, I give the crown to 50. Joy, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with you 100% because that's what I was about to say. When 50 came in the game, he had everybody shaking in their motherfucking boots. He was the Broad Street bully. He was the fucking bully. And the difference is like a lot of these artists would talk that shit. Remember the Source Awards? That motherfucker was walking through the crowd looking at everybody that he talked shit about. And he didn't give a fuck. He was in there with G Unit and all these.
He's later the piggy bank shit play.
Half of his crew just got out of prison. Yayo just got out of jail, bro. He had Eminem on stage with a free Yayo shirt and nobody knew who Yayo was. Then Yayo comes out and where was Yayo? Right on stage with them, bro. 50 Cent, that's why I said earlier it's so hard to proclaim who is the king of New York because I feel like at different times it was a different person.
That's why I said
you're gonna have to look at those times and see who was at the top at that time and be like, all right, that's the guy that I'm going with. But to me, it's a hard pressed conversation if you're not including fucking 50 Cent. Because even till this day, 50 Cent is still relevant in the game. If you think about his genius, think about all of his shows that he's putting out right now. When you're looking at the fucking Raising Cain and every single fucking track on there is a 50 Cent record that may not be on the radio for say, but
it's spinning.
You hear it every time you watch the show.
Streams, bro. If you think about it, you can go check it. You can go to any fucking show that's on these streaming platforms right now, and you get the intro, and you have the option to skip the intro. You don't have that. It's a 50 Cent show, because he's gonna get his fucking. Gonna let that. They say this is a big rich town, nigga. You're gonna hear that shit because he's getting his spin, bro. He's a fucking genius, bro. And to me, Get Rich or Die Trying, that shit got me through basic training in AIT, bro. Every time I was like, man, fuck this shit. I don't want to do this shit no more. I was ready for that shit, bro. Exactly.
That was a hard fucking album, bro.
Cause I'm around 50 Cent. You know how I get down, dog. That shit, bro. I would be in the most depressed mood at basic training, wanting to go home. I'm gonna break my hand today, so I go home. Then all of a sudden I hear, "What up, blood? What up, cuh? What up, gangsta?" I was like, all right, I'm good again, bro. That shit, bro. 50, and again, he came in, and we come back to what I said earlier. To me, in that era, all the dopest artists who had a reign and who held shit down had a fucking machine behind them. The machine behind 50 Cent was motherfucking Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Except for one, Nas. We forget. Nas didn't have that machine.
But Nas also, you're right. He didn't have that machine, but he didn't have the run that these other guys that had the machine did. He had his little run, but he didn't have that long run like these niggas did because they had the machine. Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Not in his prime, but we're gonna talk about a run he did have.
King's Disease
and Magic.
Me? Whoa,
Magic,
bro.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk about it. So 2003 to 2005, Get Rich or Die Trying. All members of G Unit dropped. Then the G Unit, Beg for Mercy dropped. Then obviously he came out with the Massacre. There's no fucking doubt, no argument. He is the king of New York. I hold Jay-Z to high regards, bro. Jay-Z, depends what you ask me, he's 1, 2, or 3. Because it's Pac and Nas for sure, right? But it just depends what day you ask me, right? But let's not forget, not only did Jay-Z say to his label, get y'all shit off because there's a tsunami coming.
He told them.
Guy, not only that, people forget, he packed his bags and retired for 3 years.
Yeah. He didn't want no smoke.
I love Ho. But he's like, the world already thought I got spanked by this Queens guy. I don't need to deal with these Queens guys. No.
Yeah.
You know, and in the year that he did retire, the Black Album, classic. I love it. It was the right album. It was the right album.
What did he say on there? His exact words were, I dropped the Black Album, then I backed out him as the best rapper alive. Nigga, ask about me. Yeah.
And that was a perfect album to say goodbye on. But so we covered up the kings of New York, certain runs, certain moments, right? What I want to ask now, right quick, we cover what could have been contenders. Let's take away the commercial success, right? Let's take away the commercial success. And let's talk about just dope projects, right? Dope project. They ain't got to be hits on it. Dope projects. You brought up Liquid Source Jizza earlier, which...
The Jizza.
Right? Orlito. From I'm talking about this era, right? From the Biggie to the 50. So we're talking about 94 to 2005. We already said 50, Nas, Jay, DMX, Biggie. We already mentioned honorable contenders. But who do you think from New York that could have fitted this role, King of New York, and held the Bears down, or New York City? If it ain't these guys.
That's hard.
And we could how you say fantasy book. We could even pretend Big Pun didn't die. If he was alive, was he able to type shit? Let's just say that too.
Yeah, if Big Pun was alive, I think he would be able to. He had
Okay.
the commercial success. I think he already had like that commercial success, and he had found that pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He was definitely not gonna miss. You know,
Formula.
he found the formula. Yeah, he found the formula.
How about you, Joy?
I
Go ahead, or Lito. Go ahead.
gotta say Pun, bro. I gotta say Pun because we all know Pun was one of the dopest lyricists. He was short lived.
Yeah.
He was a different animal at the time when, and on top of that too, he came out being a Latin artist. So at the time where hip hop was predominantly black dominant, he came out and he proved himself like right off the fucking bat, bro. And then when everybody started going R&B and pop, Boricua Morena, he was able to do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to fit in with everything that was current for the time. So who's to say? But then again, we lost 3 of the dopest artists way too early to not be able to see what they could have done in their runs in Big, Pac, and Pun. Those 3. We can add Big L in there too, because who knows what he would have done.
Okay, and there's no disrespect. I love Pac, right? He came in number 1 on our way, but Pac did have a run. He had a career. People forget.
He did a lot in the time that he was
5
alive.
years. But I would agree with the Big L shit for sure, and even Biggie. 3 years wasn't too much of times. You know what I'm saying? But
to leave an impact like that to where 30 years later people are still talking about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not too many artists can do that.
You're talking about this King of New York shit.
Yeah.
So Biggie, I mean Pun. I love Pun, and I agree with Pun. The Pun assessment. 2000. There's a name that slipped my mind, but y'all might remember him. I break arms, legs, ribs. HNIC, the
HNIC, Havoc.
No, Prod.
Yeah,
Prod.
bro.
Prodigy.
Oh yeah, Prodigy.
I think
so. What was there? It was Murder Music in 2002, right? Was it 2001 or 2002? Murder Music.
2002.
Mob Deep, yeah, Mob Deep is up there, but again, it comes back to a lot of the cats
I'm not talking about Mob Deep. I'm talking about Prodigy because he dropped his solo album, that HNIC.
His solo album, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Certain years, not overall. We're about to get into overall. We're just trying to fit in certain years. I say Big Pun from 2000 because 98 he dropped the dope project, but it didn't matter who did anything. That was DMX, hands down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I believe, I agree with you, but not in the year. But I believe fucking Big L, if he didn't die in 99, I think he would have found his groove, and Cameron found his groove in 2002, was it? Like, come home with me?
Come home with me.
Right? Yep. I think, how about any more names, Orlito, you got before we move on to the last topic?
When did Mace come around?
Oh, that's a
I can't. I mean, Mace is dope, but I don't.
You brought up Ja Rule, though. You brought up Ja Rule.
Yeah, but Ja Rule,
he's a better rapper than Ja Rule.
Ja Rule was completely different at his time for the reason 50 made fun of him for being a singing ass, rapping ass nigga, and then he murdered him, and then 50 Cent became a singing ass, rapping ass nigga. What would I be without you? and then 50 Cent came out with Candy Shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ja Rule, bro. Anybody who says they don't like Vinny Vedovici is a fucking lie. If you're a hip hop head, because that album was fucking dope.
It was
for
decent.
the time that it was dropped.
No, it was way better than the 336. It was way better.
Yeah,
actually, that's
Rule 336.
That's the hits. That's without a doubt. I'm not gonna argue with nobody about Ja Rule because he's a certified hit maker, bro.
He started the poppy area where, but then I mean,
if you would stayed.
Those rainy days.
Yeah,
if you would have stayed with that Very Veggie form, like that style, and threw hits here and there, we're talking then, Mano. we for sure talking because I do agree. I started thinking of that very that shit is dope, but that formula switched quick, just like Bone Thugs in '97 after the Crossroads success. Everything had a ooh in it after that. You know what I'm saying? But Mace, I think personally, he go listen to Imaginary Players. Jay-Z was intimidated by Mace's success at that time. Don't make real Rolex diamonds. What the fuck you done to that? Up Orlito. So 98, you saying, or 99? For because 97.
I just remember that one album that he used to have with the song. That song's like, "Why you over there looking at me? I'm gonna stand here." That shit, who got crazy, went crazy on that shit. Yeah.
All right, man. So we named the likes of Mace, Method Man, Raekwon, and Ghostface. To me, without a doubt, they will hit. They will be my top 10 MCs of New York. Period. Matter of fact, for sure I know that because they got classic albums. But as far as checking all the boxes, I don't think they have done it as far as solo artists. I do believe they did it as groups. Let me check this comment out right quick. Nas is the king of New York. Okay, we're about to get into that now. So before the next question, I would like to ask this. Out of the 5 that were highlighted, who, Joey, in your mind, is the greatest king of New York? Of the 5, and then we're going to get into another question, but out of the 5 mentioned. And it could be your criteria, whatever criteria you like.
I mean, as much as I want to go with Jay-Z, commercially and longevity and the amount of different runs that he had at different times, it's got to be Jay-Z. Now, on my personal preference, when it comes to lyrical ability, the ability to fucking change with the times, the ability to get on another record with somebody else and outshine them, because Jay-Z could get on records with people, but Jay-Z, let's keep it real, was outshined on a lot of shit that he did with other people. He's been outshined by Eminem. He's been outshined by motherfucking Beanie Siegel. He's been outshined by nigga Chris and Sparks. There's records on their albums where Jay-Z did a feature, and maybe it was because it was a Jay feature, and he just gave them a 16 and let them shine. But to me, nobody can hold their fucking weight with Big Pun. And the reason I'm not gonna say Big Pun.
No. Okay. I was talking about the 5: DMX, Jay-Z, Biggie, Nas, and 50. That's why we brought up Big Pun earlier.
I can say same thing. I could say what I said about Jay-Z, but to me, if I had to say who, again, going back to holding their own on a record, who can adapt, who can change their style, who can change their flow, and who can be appealing to the audience at that time, is 50 Cent. That's what I have. I'm going to say, again.
No, you ain't wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's
stat-wise, and for his run and what he did, Jay-Z. But if we're talking those 5, to me, as an artist, 50 is not more lyrical than Jay, because Jay got bars, Jay got wordplay, Jay uses metaphors and similes, but 50 Cent is a fucking chameleon. You could throw 50 Cent on a gangster record, he's going to shoot you 20 times because he got shot 9 times. You could throw him on a fucking R&B record or a pop record, and he's going to give you fucking I don't know what you heard about me, shit like that. You know what I mean? And again, we're talking about the same 50 Cent who shitted on Ja Rule for being a pop artist, singing, rapping nigga, killed his fucking career, and then draked his whole situation and did the same fucking thing. But again, he was able to do it longer, he was able to do it better, and he was able to adapt to the times when they changed. One thing about Jay-Z that I can honestly say, you may agree with me, you may disagree with me, I don't feel Jay-Z was able to change with times. because he was always him. He always did him. He always sounded like him. Even when the auto-tune came out and everybody was jumping on auto-tune, what did he do? He dropped the death of auto-tune because he didn't want to do that shit. He didn't want to be about that shit. He was telling niggas that shit was corny while other people were blowing up off of it instead of jumping on the wave, which is respectable. But if you would have put 50 did it with fucking Justin Timberlake. I could tell she wanna push up
technology.
AO Technology, and the other one who was Jeremiah. Jeremiah is his name. Get it down on me. Dog, 50 was a bully, 50 was an artist, 50 was an MC, and 50 could change with the times. So Jay-Z, yeah, King of New York, whatever. But in my personal opinion, if I had to pick from those five, just off of the who's the best and who can adapt, I gotta say 50 Cent.
So you're going basically off impact, though, really.
I'm going off impact and the ability to stay relevant. Because although Jay-Z stayed relevant, he never changed his style. He never changed he could change his flow, but not in the same way that 50 Cent did.
That's right.
50 Cent was able to fucking adapt. And if you gave him a pop record and it was melodic and not flow and not bars, 50 Cent was going to hold it down on the melodic front. Whereas far as Jay-Z was going to let somebody else shine on the melody front, whether it have been Maya, Beyonce, whoever else, and he was just going to come on there and be Jay-Z. He was just going to spit bars, and that was it. 50 Cent would spit bars, and at the same time, he would try to ooh with the rap nigga or the R&B nigga that was on there. So honestly, bro, out of those five, I'm a Jay-Z fan. I'm not a Jay-Z hater because to me, Jay-Z's dope. I got to go with 50 Cent.
Orlito, my brother. Out of the five, Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, 50, DMX. Who was, in your opinion, the best or the greatest King of New York?
I'd have to give it to Biggie. And the reason being is because even though he wasn't around as long as everybody else has been around, we still talk about him, we still discuss him, we still listen to his music, we love all of the songs, you know what I'm saying? And I think that in itself speaks volumes in itself, you know what I'm saying? Where somebody is not here no more. And I mean, we could be honest, Pun isn't here neither, right? But we could say that we hear more of Biggie music than we hear Pun music, right? Yeah. When we talk about certain conversation, when these conversations is brought up, a lot of time Pun isn't even brought up in the conversation, but Biggie is always brought up in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, he's the reason we're having this conversation, King of New York.
Yeah, so I would give it to Big, and if the only reason I would give it to somebody else is because Big is in around. So if I had to give it to somebody else, it would be Nas.
Okay, both interesting and great choices. So the thing with me is this: 50 Cent had impact. Classic fucking debut album. The Massacre could have been classic. I feel like the Massacre, what fucked the Massacre up to me was the singles. It wasn't the album because he was actually rapping. Baltimore Love Thing was the shit to me.
We got a love thing.
Yeah, bro. You know, he showed versatility on that one. Then obviously Curtis had hits, but that was a filler. I really didn't like that. Impact, I don't think nobody on this list had a bigger impact than 50. DMX, I don't think nobody had, without a shadow of a doubt, expectations that someone that will talk about the struggle for show and talk about the hoods, ill wills and shit could be a pop star. Let's be real. DMX was a hardcore fucking MC rapper ass motherfucker. He got the pop star treatment. killing shit in 1999 at Woodstock. You know what I'm saying? Like
that crowd when he came out, that crowd went crazy,
right? And then like you brought up earlier, like he could cut his music off, go a cappella. He could invoke emotions. I haven't seen nobody but Tupac do that. Be able to invoke emotion.
And he would also battle rap the shit out of you backstage like he did Jay-Z.
Like he did Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I say without a doubt, 98 was one of the best years in hip hop, but even the best year for DMX. Now we're gonna get into the three kings, the kings of kings to me. Now, Jay-Z. I love Jay. I've been one of Jay's biggest advocates because I know what he's done and what he's capable of. Reno the Dawn, Nas is the king of New York. Fire. Appreciate you, brother. Jay-Z, bro, he embodies leadership. He's a dope lyricist. And when he wants to, he can put together great projects. He elevated this culture, bro, and he still does. But what people don't bring up with Jay is what I'm gonna bring up. His trajectory. Like, he got classic albums, but he got a whole shitload of some trash albums, in my opinion. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying the lyrics were whack because I done seen Jay-Z spit some dope lyrics over some whack-ass hook or whack-ass beat. Or there's times where he phoned it in. It's like, bro, you even tried? You even try spitting?
Right.
You would try.
So that's where my issue with Jay is. It's like, bro, you talk shit about catalogs and you supposed to put your best foot forward. I don't give a fuck about features, but your albums. So my problem with Jay-Z will be, I love Reasonable Doubt. I love In My Lifetime Volume 1. I think only 2 songs on there is it. Volume 2 is an album filler. Volume 3, I don't think...
Volume 3 is too feature heavy.
But I will say he's doing his best rapping on there since Reasonable fucking Doubt. As far as rapping. Not making music. Because now the Blueprint 1... That's the second classic to me. Then he drops a weak ass Blueprint 2, which Orly do like. I'm sorry about the judgment, Orly, but that's how I feel. I didn't like it. You drop a double disc. You drop a double disc after you just dropped the classic album.
That shit was hot, man. Come on.
Hey, what did Nas say? What did Nas say? KRS already dropped an album called Blueprint.
He had a lot of good songs on there, bro. He had that I forgot how it goes, but it's the one that he had a lot.
Not good.
He had a lot. No, I remember it. I just don't like doing the whole intro for y'all. You know what I'm saying? But
oh, you still there, bro? Okay.
He cut it off because he was bullshitting.
Oh, okay. So Jay dropped the Blueprint, then the Blueprint 2. Then he dropped the Black Album, which was
Black
dope.
Album was hard, bro.
He did. Then he comes back and drops Kingdom Come, trash.
You ready?
Then American Gangster, I thought was classic.
Yep.
He dropped Blueprint 3, which again goes back to the album fillers. It's not his worst album, but it wasn't too classic to me, especially coming from the Blueprint 1, right? Then he follows up with Kanye, Watch the Throne. I like that album.
Hard.
Then he dropped Magna Carta, which is trash. Then he dropped 444, which is classic. So to me, my problem with Jay-Z is his discography. And sometimes him phoning in on his lyrics, right? Now, I'm going to go to Nas. Now, Nas, I think the issue with him was consistency, right? He didn't have the presence. It's like, how can this guy be the king of New York or whatnot? Because he's not even present. It's like being student of the class, but you're absent. Like, how do we do this, right?
How you
But
got perfect attendance, but you're never here?
yeah, bro. So now what works in Nas's credit though, what people was critical on actually works out in his favor in the long run. Because if you ask me, Nas Illmatic classic, it was written classic, hot fucking project with the firm. Now he drops Nostradamus, that was whack. Stillmatic, he recovers, hot. Godson, hot. Street Disciples, but it's not whack. Hip Hop
Right.
Zed, okay. It's okay, but not whack. He picks up with Untitled, right? Then he did the shit with the Marley son, Distant Relatives, which was a dope collaboration, right? But I'm not gonna hold that to shit. Life is Good. That was the precursor to 444. That's the precursor to Mr. Morel and Big Steppers. Let's not forget that. Life is Good is the precursor to that. That's where the guys got the formula from. Then he drops Nasir, which I think is okay album, but you would expect that to be a classic because that's the Kanye album. That's the one he locked in with Kanye, right?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Now we talk about Joey. Now we talk about a run. Now we talk about an unprecedented run. We're talking about a running guy who late 40s dropped King's Disease 2, Magic, King's Disease 3, Magic 2, and Magic 3. We're talking about at least 3 classics, 5 hot projects for sure out of 6 in 2-year span, 3-year span.
After being in the game for 20 plus years.
Now we put the run in, bro. Now he got to run it, right? It's safe to say.
Yeah.
And the one that's not a classic to me is King's Disease 2, and that's a hot project.
That was all the beats they left over from King's Disease 1.
You know what I'm saying? So as far as the catalog go, I'm gonna have to give it to Nas now. And if you ask me from 2000, 2007, that wasn't the case. You couldn't get me to go against Jay at this time. You know what I'm saying? But in the hindsight, I got Nas. But ultimately, bro, I'm going to have to go with Big because everything after 97 was trying to follow what that man did with Life After Death. He found the formula. He found the cheat code. He found how to compose, tackle every subject, hit every layer. So my greatest king of New York, I got to give it to Big. But alive, Nas. I'll give it a Nas.
Yeah.
Agreeable.
So out of you, I would say 50 Cent is Get Rich or Die Trying your favorite album.
Yeah. Get Rich or Die Trying is a fucking classic. I mean, it's got so much shit. You could put it on right now and still vibe with that shit.
It's a masterpiece. Yeah. I'll give it to him. It's a masterpiece.
Definitely a masterpiece.
Orlito, so what's your Biggie favorite album?
Life After Death.
Okay, so I'm in agreement with you. All right, so last question, then we out of here, y'all. So we will say Nas is ultimately, because of the King's Disease's magic and the consistency he has, he's better than everybody that we mentioned except for Biggie and X because they're no longer here with us to challenge that. But as far as the people that's alive, he's better than 50 right now as far as lyrics and music-wise. And I would like to say he holds the title. But let's say from 2015 and on, who y'all think had the potential to carry this torch, this title from the newcomers?
2015 and on.
Yeah, because I would say
that's not from the guys that we were just mentioning and talking about.
Yeah, because that was the end of that real. Because when we talk, look, me and you, Joey, and Orlito, we all had competitive conversation based off albums, lyrics, and this and that, right? And you know why is that? Because the King of New York at that time, they made it competitive. So if Biggie dropped a dope project, guess who's trying to follow up? Raekwon with a dope project. So how you say competition breed champions at that time, where in 2015 it was more like for props, right? But if we use commercial success, critically acclaim, and dominance as the criteria, who from 2015 we could say could have held the title, or you got to run for it?
Damn.
I got
from
one
New
that
York,
stands
you
out.
say, right?
I got one that
From New
stands
York.
out. Yeah, because the
I know who
reason
you were gonna say.
Go ahead, Orlito.
You're gonna say Pop Smoke.
Facts.
Yeah, I was leaning on that too. And I mean, here's the fucked up part. Here's the real fucked up part. Because doesn't Joey Badass fall in that era too? The 2015 and on?
No,
when did Joey Badass drop his
Joey,
drop his shit?
Joey's from the Cole, Kendrick, and Drake era, bro. Joey came out in the blog era. Joey that 2010, 2011.
You're right. He was before that.
He was young. He was just young.
You want to know some fucked up shit? It could have been fucking 6ix9ine. Could have been. Could have been.
It could have.
If it wouldn't have been for all the bullshit, it could have been, because if you think about it, he was hot.
Checking all the boxes.
And he didn't give a fuck what you said about him. He came out and did it. And 50 Cent, before he came out to be a snitch, 50 Cent was co-signing.
Co-signed him. Yeah.
I mean, he was really. It wasn't my style of music or my taste of music, but there's some shit that he dropped that I'm like, all right, yeah, this nigga's he's whack, but I could fuck with this shit right here. Yeah. Hit you with the blicky, with the sticky, bro. I mean, come on, dog. He really had a real fucking. He had a hot run before it came out that he was a chota. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because if none of that shit would have ever happened and he would have never got exposed, who knows what he would. Bro, right now he went through all of that. And now he's popping in the Latin music world. How the fuck does that happen? He was like, oh, you ain't gonna fuck with me no more on some hip hop shit? Well, I'm gonna go over here and do the reggaeton ton with these niggas from Colombia and all that shit. You know what I mean? He was still making music. And after that, after the whole snitch allegations and situations and him being exposed, he came out with the you're mad, he's mad, I'm back, and he had a fucking rat face, and he was still doing numbers and making movies.
Yeah, he was, bro. And people was vouching for him.
And the new era of YN is so wild.
No,
they don't give a fuck about a snitch. That's the clout era. That's the clout chasing era. It was all about how you did, and he was doing features with major artists. He had a song with 50. He had a song with Lil' Kim. Nicki. With Nicki. Yep. Then he came out doing shit with Anuel before they started beefing. So if he wouldn't have gone through what he went through, it's sad to say it. It's sad to say this. If he wouldn't have got exposed and all of that shit wouldn't have happened, and he probably could have been, and he was self-proclaiming to be the king of New York.
He didn't get exposed. He revealed himself.
He revealed himself. You're right. He revealed himself. But if that would have never happened, and the people around him would have been more focused on saying, let's ride this nigga's coattails instead of trying to rob him and fuck his baby mama and steal his jewelry and do all that other shit, he right now, who knows, right now, he might still be in the rap game, one of the top niggas right now. He might have been Drake in the game right now with his shit, because he's still touring, he's still doing shows, he's still doing numbers, and now he crossed over into the Latin trap game and the Latin reggaeton game. So who knows? It could have been him. They did, because he started beefing with Anuel. Like, how you did a track with this nigga and he accepted you, blah blah blah. Then you fucked his baby mom, and now y'all are beefing, and that got you more popping. And you went over to Argentina or wherever the fuck he went to, and he's still dropping music. Think about it. The nigga went to jail for snitching and doing all this shit and came right out to doing sold out shows. So he could have been. I'm not my personal cup of tea, but
no, I agree. He's not my cup of tea, but I agree. Because he's hitting all them check check boxes. He was checking all
Yep.
the boxes. Orlito, obviously I said you already know. You said it for me, Pop Smoke. How about you? Who you think? Oh, there's another guy I want to mention, but Orlito, go ahead. Who you think who could fit the criteria?
I'm gonna go with Fabulous.
Damn.
Oh, he's from our era.
He's
though.
he's like
he's
way before that.
Yeah, he's from that era. Oh no, but that's not wrong. That's not a wrong answer because he could have fitted the question before
So
this.
you know relevant, right?
No, from 2015 and on. So I'm gonna throw some names at you right quick that just came to mind.
Benny the Butcher.
Okay, Benny. I think Benny's dope on everything. I think maybe you know what Benny needs, bro. I'm not saying fuck Conductor Williams, but Benny needs to hook up with Pharrell or Timbaland. He's just
he needs to go more mainstream versus the underground that he's sticking to.
It's the beats, bro. I love it, but if you want
the underground boom bap,
if you want to cross over, West Side Gun actually, West Side Gun,
yeah,
he's checking all the boxes, bro. The shit that Hills Has Eyes, cross promoting wrestling shit, that's pretty slick. How about this guy? If he wasn't lazy or fucking billionaire princesses, ASAP Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah, he's all fennied up with Riri right now.
That's what I'm saying. All right, man. So we covered the Kings of New York. We covered the runs, the reigns, who we thought was the greatest King of New York of the 5. We covered who we thought could have fit them position at certain years that wasn't officially the Kings of New York or mainstream. And we covered who could have had the title. So now I want to end this with, what do you think is the lasting legacy of the King of New York title? When you think of King of New York title.
I mean, when you think New York,
I think of 50. I think of 50 Cent.
Okay.
I agree.
For some reason, I don't know why.
Realistically, like anybody's gonna say Biggie or Jay or all that, but yeah, because they were at the beginning of it. They were at the beginning of it. 50 came in the middle of it, and he's still here, and he's still relevant, and he's still
the tail end of it. He was the tail end of it. And he had the best. He had the best. His first album out did the first 4 was. Yeah, his first album did Diamond. He did DMX.
Again, like I said earlier, he had the machine. He had the Eminem and the fucking Aftermath and the Dr. Dre.
So okay, you right? You right. But we can't give just Dr. Dre all the credit and Eminem all the credit because they done released artists that didn't even succeed half or a quarter of. You know what I'm saying? Stat Quo. I love Stat Quo, but what did he do?
Yeah.
He under succeeded.
Okay, so we can't just give them.
He had that one good song that was all mad, and I like when you do it like that. He ain't got a minute, another minute. That's the only song he had.
So okay, you thought of artists. Okay, what I was trying to get to is like when I think of King of New York, I think of great music. I think of competition. I think of dominance. And most of all, I think of presence. Like, you knew, not like you got to be on all these shows and whatnot, but like your music was just like in our faces, right?
So with what you're saying too, like, okay, I get what you're saying now. To me, when you say like what would solidify or what is the criteria of being the King of New York?
No, that will be a criteria, but when you say, man, what do you think of the King of New York? I think of the best. I think of the best MCs.
To me, it comes to the best with the bars, the wordplay, the metaphors, the similes, the complexity of the rap, not just rapping fucking blue with glue. You know what I mean? Like the typical rap shit. That's just rapping. When you talk about New York rap, You talk about metaphors,
No, I'm talking
similes,
about King of New
punchlines.
York. No, I'm thinking King of New York, the title. What
Right,
that like
that to me has to be the total package because the East Coast was so
does.
dominant for so long. It has to include everything that I just said. Who has the
But that's
bars?
just a
Who has
rap.
the wordplay? You know what I
That's
mean?
just
Shit
a
like
rapper,
that.
though. You just bringing up what you expect from a rapper, the MC.
True, but if you think about the East Coast and New York and all that, and all it ever was, it was never about popularity, being flashy, or doing numbers. It
No,
was
you
always
lying.
about the fucking rap, bro.
Uh-uh.
That's how I see it.
Mm-mm. The beginning, the I believe the Kane era, the Chuck D who don't get his flowers, one of the greatest of all time. That era, I agree with, right? But let's get real. They Illmatic to It Was Written. Nas wasn't who not Escobar. Who he wanted to be on It Was Written. Escobar. What he was trying to do. Flaws. So Jay-Z, Big Willie, Iceberg Slim, Biggie, Sipping More. They were stunning, mano.
Fabulous.
Yeah, you know.
Fabulous.
I agree to disagree in a sense, but so no, keep going. But they were doing that though. They for sure were doing that. Because Cash Money wouldn't be coming out with bling bling if it wasn't for Diddy doing what the fuck he did in the shiny suit time.
The shiny suits. And Missy Elliott with the garbage bag blown up
You
and
feel
being
me?
all fucking all fucking flashy. Mace.
So I see what you describing is what you expect from the MC as far as him rapping.
What I'm saying is when somebody tells me King New York, when I think of New York, that's what I think of. I think of the complexity of the music, the delivery. They always come back to, oh, he's dope, but he don't have a mic presence. He don't have like G Herbo. G Herbo is so trash to me, bro. That nigga's never on beat. That I don't get it, nigga. Like, like this nigga, that shit he just dropped with Meek Mill.
Who said that nigga's never on beat?
Every time I hear some shit, and then all of a sudden G Herbo come in, the beat is going 1, 2, 3, 4. G Herbo's going 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like he's completely off. I can't rock with this nigga, bro. He's so off, bro. Like me and my brother argue about this all the time because we're both from Chicago. My brother loves Chicago. He's like, man, yo, that new G Herbo. I'm like, nigga, shut the fuck up. That non-rapping ass, offbeat ass nigga. He don't even know what he be saying. Like
he be saying some shit to me.
To me, like when I think of like when somebody says the King of New York, what comes to my mind right away is the complexity of the flow, the mic presence, the use of multi similes, punchlines, like again, not 1, 2, 3 Mother Goose rap, because anybody can do that right now.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers who say shit and make you think about it. Okay, there's the one little battle rap nigga, Conceited. He always got that line, slow it down. I just dissed you. And then he explains how he shitted on you. That type of flow and that type of rap. When I think King of New York, that's what I think. Obviously, there's still the record sales and all that other shit and everything. Yeah, it all ties together. But to me, when you talk New York versus when you talk, okay, if you tell me LA, when I think LA, I think of the bop. I think of the fucking the beat. I think of the flow. And it's always a vibe. It's more of a laid back shit. When I think Midwest, you come to the Twistas, the fucking the Crucial Conflicts. It's the rapid, you know, that type of shit. Then right. And then you talk about down south, it's stunting. It's you know, it's talking about the what they got, what they do, the money, this to that. Because outside of oh, damn, Orly, what's bro's name that me and you be listening to all the time? I can't think of his fucking name right now. He's from Memphis. Don Tripp. Man, bro, one of the dopest ever to me, bro. Don Tripp is so cold. And Don Tripp is, to me, Don Tripp is a little bit of mixture of everything, because when you listen to him, you're not going to believe he's a Memphis rapper. When you think about Memphis rappers right now, you're thinking like Key Glock, Young Dolph, that type of shit. And then there's Don Tripp doing fucking bars and dope ass songs just like that. So I mean that's my take on it as far as the King of New York and what I think about when people say what defines the King of New York to you, because King of New York was boom bap, Timberlands, bars, complex fucking rapping and style and all that shit, where everybody else was different.
Orlito, when you think of the King of New York, what comes to mind? You said 50, but break down like criteria or what, anything.
The reason I say 50, I don't know, is just like, like when like when you say Milwaukee, you think about Giannis.
Right.
It's just
Oh,
like that.
he's synonymous with it. So when it
Yeah.
comes to the King of New York, that title, he's synonymous to it.
Yeah, because I don't know, like uh I feel like Fat Joe is kind of, you know what I'm saying, and 50 has just been around. Like he's always I don't know, he just always there in somebody's face.
That's
He
what I
always
said.
chiming in
Impressive.
about something. Yeah,
Impressive.
yeah.
Okay.
So I would say
Yeah,
50.
dope, man. This was a great episode, man. We had a great conversation. Every person that we mentioned, bro, deserved their flowers. They earned their run. And damn, bro, now that I think about it, all these guys are larger than life figures, bro.
Yeah. That's why I said this is gonna be the hardest one.
A good thing we didn't have to pick who was our favorite. We didn't have
If
to
we would have done
really
the brackets,
choose.
we'd be here till 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that one out. But Orlito, Joey, before we head up out of here, y'all wanna send some shout outs or before Orlito take us home?
Man, shout out to everybody, bro. And we need to do this again. We need to keep this moving. Shout out to everybody who was here. Shout out to Hectic. Shout out to Reno. Everybody who chimed in with us today. We're going on 2 hours and 47 minutes. That's
We
wild.
out of here. Oh shit. My bad, fellas. I know y'all gotta get up out of here. My bad. Orlito, about yourself, brother. Did he?
Think we lost him.
All right, I'm gonna give bro 2 seconds, but yeah, man, I appreciate you, brother, rocking with us again.
Shout out to
Niggas having technical difficulties.
No, I'm in here.
Okay, no, go ahead, Orlito.
I can hear y'all. Y'all can't hear me?
No, yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Home, Orlito. Shout out everybody. Joy, we appreciate you. We'll be joining us next week. Orlito, take us home.
I'll be here next week with different color lights.
And I'll be here with his different color lights.
For sure. Yeah, appreciate everybody that tuned in, everybody that chimed in, everybody that engaged. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Joey D. Shout out to No. Shout out to Hectic. Shout out to everybody that hit the share button. Go subscribe if you haven't. This is Great Mind Stick Alike. Tune in next Thursday, 7 p.m. Be here or be square, son. You heard? You heard? You heard? We out, son. Peace. Oh, shout out Rich P. I'm at the beat battle. We going.
We out this motherfucker.